and we'll see you guys later. All right.
See you guys.
Ciao.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That is your boy, Joey Options. And I'm Sharif, and I look like I have a lot more energy than I actually have IRL. I'm going to continue to fake it until it dwindles, and then we can't do anything about it. So shout out to everybody for joining us today. I hope everybody's had a fantastic morning. It's a bit of a rough one, Joseph, to start the morning. We kind of looked like maybe we were trending up a little bit here to start the day, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Google, Amazon, everything in question now, so we'll talk about that. But before I do anything else, Arsenal, taking out Real Madrid. You guys are donezo. We beat you on your turf, baby. So I see all you guys there. All right, man. Shout out to Coolman65. Shout out to, who else is Juan Padilla. We got Nomo, Brenrex, the Roaring Griffin, and Blue Arrow. How about Sports and Stonks? Wastegate. Not Waste Man, but Wastegate. We got Oscarito, we got Pug Life, Other, Zinc, and Demon Haunted House. Benton C, come on, you gunners, baby. D. Westermeyer, my man. We got Pop Lock, we got Jordy VWAP, Andrew Chow. Who else on the blockchain? Normal Special, I like that. Ozan, not that Ozan, the other Ozan. Kirk D, we got the OG Gorev, Abdul Aziz, and David Beach. How about Donkey Trader? Always gets me chuckling there. Drops trades. Bot Yacht Club, Smokey Love. We got Peyton. We got Stewart. We got Frank Hong, baby. Gerald Dilworth. Monty G. A couple more, Joseph. We got Marwan. And we got Reese. Hope everybody's had a fantastic morning. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I mean, okay, we're getting smoked here.
What happened?
Some TQs. If we can pull up my chart. We had a nice long earlier in the morning here, catching the bottom out aggressively, and then we just start to piece things out here, and then we're looking for the hold of this trend here, guys, and it's not looking like it's coming into play. If it doesn't, then we'll just get out of it. We're not going to sweat any of that, but that's what we have going on here. And then we went aggressive here on IBIT, guys, because I did believe that we were going to continue to move to the top side, and we didn't. So you can see enter, add, see you later, we get stopped out. We start small again, get out, and then we go super aggressive there for the move back to the volume weighted average price. And it just said, no, not today, Joe. That's how we're feeling going to the downside. And then eventually turns around, but I'm like 3 strikes, you're out of here. And then here we go on the TQs as well, starting to break through that trend. Not a good sign. NVDA down to 100. My average price is 107 in the swing account. And yeah, that's what it is, brother. So yeah, what do you got going on for small cap?
All right, here we go. Here's what we got, baby. I'm keeping my eye here on SXTC. It's between it and ADGM, the two biggest gappers in these markets right now. I'm talking about gappers above that dollar. Don't really know what the hell they're doing below the dollar. Don't really care. So here's a top left-hand corner, SXTC. This one did halt. It halted, it looks like here once. Let me just verify that on the one. No, this is a multiple halter. Both have been to the upsides, both halts on SXTC to the upside. Let's do some TA here. The first halt, though, 5 minutes. The second halt, 10. So just to give you some context, I'm already liking the price pattern on this, and I'll tell you why. Look at this $2 level over here, area rejection at 10.15. We work our way up there. We big boy drop back into that $1.40. Lo and behold, though, when we cleared that $2 area at 10.40 and we drop back down, look where we held up. We got a double bottom here at $2. That tells you the buyers are using that halt level as an intraday area of support. So I'm very interested in weaseling into this one. I also happen to like the fact that the volume weighted average price and that whole dollar level at 2 are awfully close. We got VWAP essentially at $1.94, $1.95, and you got the halt level at 2. That gives me a bit more, confidence trying to punch in at that $2 area, knowing I don't gotta give it 25 cents. It's 5 or 6 pennies, maybe 10 if you really want to get, a bit more aggressive. Whatever, SXTC in focus will be looking to get into that. ADGM, Joseph, your jokes. ADGM, this one was putting a plethora of lower highs and lower lows. It seems to have found a bit of a support level as well. You guessed it. Above that area, that halt area at $1.83, it ends up double bottoming here at $1.90. So clearly some buyers a little bit higher than that halt area on ADGM. It is, though, putting in those lower highs. Go.
Sweet. All right.
Go.
Pull up the screen here. Guys. There we go. We're holding on to this position. And what do we do, Sweet? What did we do
What did you do, bro?
Added, brother.
I love it.
Oh, we're about to take some off the top. Let's go. Give me a little squeeze type price action. Apple really starting to move. Bitcoin, my guy, even though that didn't work out for me, continuing to move higher and higher. That's all that matters. As long as we got it in the long term, then we're content with life there, Shreve. And there we go. A 10% or 20% I just took off there. Continuing to climb back towards the volume weighted average price. What a play here on TQQs. Just using basic TA here. I showed you guys the trend line that I was referring to. If it cracked to the downside, we were going to get out of the position, but it held up relatively strong, and that is a good note. So we're gonna piece a little bit more up here as we head towards the volume weighted average price. Really nice trading here. What a beautiful ad, a work of art at that there, guys. And my guy Bitcoin, I love it when Bitcoin is moving higher because guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to be buying more in the long term.
Tell them what you're doing though, Joseph.
I told Tesla, I sold Tesla a while ago. I sold Apple a while ago, sitting on some cash, gonna grab more to that Bitcoin. Shriek said, Joe, tell him what you're doing. I'll be honest with you guys.
Tell him.
I don't even know if I should be saying this. I'm YOLOing Bitcoin for the long term. It's just like, just go for it, right? Like, if this asset is truly going to do what it's going to do, then I want to participate in it. And honestly, I have a really good history with Bitcoin. I'm going to be frank. I have a really good history, so I just want to stick with it for the long term. And I think that's going to be my game plan. I'll hold on to some other equities, but I want to just size into IBIT as much as I possibly can. I already have a good chunk in there, and now I'm sitting on about 10-15% cash, which I really like, and I'm just gonna slowly start to grab more. And my goal and my plan is to literally hold this for 20 to 25 years, God willing that I live that long. So, no, I'll hand it off to.
Look, you and I were talking off camera. I think it was a few weeks ago at least, right?
Trader cut.
What? He's like YOLO.
No, to be honest with you, no. He said I'm about to be homeless. But no, to be honest with you, this is like an account that I can't even really withdraw money for 20 years.
Are we talking about GIC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a retirement account.
Gotcha.
So it's just like it's either I retire with a nice amount of money or I'll be panhandling around the streets of Toronto.
Stop. Yeah, there's not going to be no panhandling, baby. No, but you and I were talking off camera, and we were talking about, the volatility in equities, the potential hit the revenue stream, the profitability as a result of the tariffs, and we were talking about what could be non-tariff affected, even though in real life it may move with the tariffs because it's looked at as a speculative asset. There's really nothing about Bitcoin that connects it to tariffs all that much. So because it's a global asset, right? So,
and to be honest with you, so what I did, I started buying IBIT when it IPO'd.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been in it since like literally I bought some the first day and I just slowly continued to grab more and more of it. So
I like it, man. All right, just got in to a position here on ADGM. It's breaking out. I'm punching in at the high of the day, but it's really catching an aggressive bid. So let's see if this one can squeeze. I've got 59s. It's showing me 64s. There's a seller at 63. There we go. We get the fill at 64. Then you already know where I'm waiting. I don't have to tell you guys. If you've been watching the show, you know I'm waiting at 69, baby. So we'll see if this one zigs and zags in the way that I hope it will. This one is an interesting one here. ADGM kind of just popping off here last minute, trying to catch the better part of this trade. Maybe we'll wet the beak a little bit here in the mid 60s. That seller at 63 here on ADGM keeps reinstituting their position. So we wet the beak a little bit there. Anything though below that 40 penny print, we're gonna have to flatten out this one. I don't mind getting back in though. Like I have no issues looking at getting back at that 2.25 where the 10 exponential on the 5 is, or that 210, 213 area where the volume weighted average price is. I'm going to certainly keep an eye out on that. ADGM flat right now on it, Joseph, but already wet the beak a couple of times looking for this one to hold the $0.50.
Yeah, nice. Tux Brown's vlog, please don't annoy me today.
Today's not the day, bro.
Yeah, it's not.
A lot of us are getting sick.
Yeah.
We're tired.
I've been on the couch for the week, so I'm gonna ask you very kindly, just don't.
You don't even have to be that kind.
See you later. Look, even Ramin is like later. We won't see you later. So yeah, just don't be that guy. Don't be Tux.
Who is this guy? What's his beef, bro? You want me to take it?
No,
you don't need anybody to help you, obviously.
But let's see what we got cooking up here. TQ's looking really, really good here so far. Nice nice ABCD pattern forming right here. Yeah? Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that. Okay, yeah, we're going to go off to Adair, then we're going to talk some more TQs, guys.
Keep an eye on some of these oil names, specifically here. Occidental is one I pulled up here. XOM also on watch. They were named here in this story by the Wall Street Journal. Apparently, the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, as run by Elon Musk, is apparently they're looking now to come for these clean energy names, which now puts companies like Exxon and Occidental at risk. So Wall Street Journal flagging some potential concerns for projects for Oxy and Exxon after Doge apparently looking to invest in or investigate and look into these companies. Back to you.
Comment there, skirt. Best time to accumulate Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin will be between December 25 and August 26. Mark my words. All right, yeah.
Reason. What's the reason for that,
elaborate, please? Yeah, elaborate a little bit more. Yeah. Is it because of the halving cycle, where we stand in it, etc.? Just leave a little bit more. We'll keep an eye out for your name there, skirt, to see what you say about that. Not disagreeing. We just want to see what your thesis is and why that specific time frame is the best time to grab and slowly allocate Bitcoin. We're very interested in that comment. Who's being mean to our Joe? Yeah, exactly, Matthew Booth. He's not being mean. He's just being annoying, and I don't got time for annoyance. I got a puppy at home who can't sleep or does anything along those lines, and yeah, so that's what it is. Shreve's laughing at me. Man, I was on the couch last night. The guy, he's just freaking out all the time, so it's just like chill out, sleep maybe a little bit at nighttime, not during the day, and then not freak out at night.
I love trying to reason with a puppy, bro. It's impossible, Joseph. Right, all right, baby. We added at that $0.50 on ADGM. We're taking Prince to the high side, baby. Just got filled at 62s. It's still zigging and zagging right now. It's at the high of the day, so you feel the shorts are stepping in, or there's aggressive profit taking from those holding it from the single dollars, but we're already profitable on it, man. So we're trying to stay profitable, but that $0.50 seems to be an elusive target to close above. I mean, we're zigging down now below that 50 penny area. So anything below 40s, as I've mentioned, gets me out of this trade. But I don't mind getting back in. I really want to stress that 2.25, that's a 10 exponential moving average, a little bit below that at about two mid-teens, like 15, something like that. That's where the volume weighted average price is. So if it does stop me out below that 240 area, we'll still be profitable on it, but I will be looking likely to get back in if it does stop me out. So I'm throwing in my hard stop below that level. The other trade that I'm involved in right now, this one, SXTC, we've got 20s. It's showing me 13s. So my mistake there. So we're a little bit out of the money on this one. So I'm looking to wet the beak here at 23s if we're able to. I'm looking to defend essentially that 10 exponential moving average on the 5, which is currently at 203. I'm seeing another psychotic one come in here, OMH. This one is also up bigly. There we go. This one is trading crazy, though. It just popped into 319, then dropped below 3. So I haven't looked at the level 2, but from the price action on the chart, I can tell you already it's likely very spready. Just because it's moving, 5-6 pennies at a time on a $3 name, typically not the case. OMH, trade this carefully. I still haven't had a look at it very thoroughly yet, but it's been on the side chart since we got on. So I'm keeping my eye here on SXTC as it's continuing to drop a little bit below that 205 area. So the deal is with this one, here's VWAP, and it's already losing VWAP, and I just got stopped out of that one. So we'll go 1 for 1. We'll take a bit of a hit on this one. This one, I didn't get any prints out on, full disclosure, so we'll take the full hit here on SXTC. Back to ADGM. We get another print to the high side, so doing well on one, not so well on the other. Now I'm waiting at 69s, and I've got shares on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and wait into the 70s on this one if it does allow me. So at ADGM and SXTC, Joseph.
Good look there. Yeah, Eduardo Lindenmeyer, what do you mean by nothing special about 10 minutes? I'm just curious. Genuinely. So just tag me again. I seen your comment there, and then we'll talk a little bit more to it. But all love to everybody in the chat who's tagging us. Who do we got? Andrew N, Eduardo on the block, Darwin, my guy. Everybody's saying it. Monty G saying, Joe, don't have any kids. All right, I hear you on that one there. My friend JG, my guy. Damien Oliveira, much love to everybody. I mentioned Andrew N, Skull, my guy as well too. And it's good to see my boy Stevenson in the chat. Glad to see you guys back here. We're still rocking in this TQs trade. Is there going to be a potential ad around here? I hope so. This is what we're going to continue to look for. We want to make this trade as big as we possibly can. We're going 2 for 2 on the TQs right now. So you can see we started here. I hesitated on this ad. If I got it in right here, I would have been a lot more safe and had the ability to hold significantly longer, even if I did piece them out. But then we just got right back in, and then we added again. Right into this position. So let's see if we can crack the volume weighted average price. Google just dumped on that news, so they're partially losing. Pay that fine, and I agree with what Sean is saying. Now's not the time to be picking on your best players or suspending them, right? Like, and this is my opinion. We got the AI war going on. We got tariffs going on. You're battling with China. You want your strongest to be your strongest. You want your best to be your best, and now's not the time to be picking up on them. So yeah, just avoid that. Okay, Tux Brown, see you later, my guy. We're not that. We just don't like annoyance. That's all. We're peaceful people, so we're not. We're definitely.
What's this guy, bro? Are you dense, bro?
Yeah,
he told you he's tired.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the fact that he's Canadian. And I'm kind of tired too. Don't poke me either, man.
Don't poke this. Don't poke
All right,
this guy.
Joseph, we're doing it live here, baby, on ADGM. We're back at 62s. I just went the beak at 82s. Now I'm going to wait for a $3 touch and drop because that's what that's what these ones do. They dance around the whole dollar level. So the situation is with ADGM, we got back in at 62 and we're doing it live with this one. I'd like to take some out possibly in the high 80s before I take out that last hopeful profit taker around $3. Is doing the dance with no underwear or pants at $2.75 right now, which is not unusual. We need the $half, the whole dollar, the $quarter. It really depends where the shorts or the profit takers are setting up on the day, but those are the levels, where you're likely to encounter areas of support and resistance. I'm talking about the quarter, half, and whole dollars. 3/4 as well goes with that. So we're in the money nicely now. ADGM is a big boy winner today. It's 200% in the green. And as a result, let me give you some more information about it. ADGM, let's put it into trade ideas. I don't have a short float, sadly, but I'm seeing the float on trade ideas about 2 2/3, so 268,000. Okay, I don't know if that's accurate, so I'm going to check it on my platform. I'm seeing 3.3 million float. So trade idea saying about 260 some odd thousand. My platform saying 3.3 million. Well, they're both small either way. Obviously, one's a lot smaller than the other, but 3.3 million still qualifies as a smaller float. So keeping my eye on this one, looking for that parabolic move up. Just to give you some idea, the high of the day right now, 287. It just wicked off beautifully off the 10 exponential moving average. So it is respecting key areas of technical support. I'm talking about moving averages, VWAP, and price action, support and resistance. That's what I mean there when I say technical areas of support. So far, so good. We got a couple of outs there on the top, but the deal is I add at between 2 1/3 to 2 1/2. I will be looking to defend the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 on ADGM, and this is kind of what I'm seeing on my black charts over here, so you just have an idea of what I'm talking about. Oh, goodness gracious, good God. All right, here, let's move that down. There we go, okay? So this is what I'm talking about when I say that green line right there. If it dips into that, I'm looking to pick up a little bit more. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that one. How are we doing there with SXTC? So this one's losing the bid completely. We already went 0 for 1 on that. I won't be buying it at the 20 exponential moving average, which is exactly where it's at right now. I'm talking about SXTC. It's below VWAP, and I just won't break my rules on this one. Simple as that. So the ADGM losing a little bit of the bid here, but we got a couple of more outs on this, so I don't mind adding. So let's go ahead and throw out those orders right now to shadow that 10 exponential. First order is going to go at around the $half. I'm going to front run the $half by a couple of pennies if I can, and then I'm put a little bit lower as well to actually shadow the 10 exponential itself. That'll be in the low 40s. So we already get the fill there in the 50s. Do we get the low 40s fill? We haven't gotten it quite yet, so now we got 57s as an average cost. So let's throw out some orders to the top side to see if we can catch a move up. I'm talking about ADGM, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there. So I see what you're saying. Eduardo Lindenmeyer. So those who are more, I guess, familiar with crypto, you're referring to hard forking. So that's what you're saying. So anyone could copy Bitcoin source, change that 10-minute mining time to whatever they want and create a new crypto. For all my crypto fans out there, I'm pretty sure he's referring to hard forking, and I don't think it's that simplistic. I'm trying to remember the percentage metric that you need to do to create a fork. So then you have Ethereum, and then you have Ethereum Classic. Essentially, Ethereum Classic was the original one, and then it was hard forked into Ethereum. And then that's what Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash were. Those are hard forks, but you need about like 50 or 51%, I believe, in order to do so. And I believe it's like 51% of all total mining power to be able to hard fork. And I don't think that's that easy anymore, considering there's more and more miners. So those who are more familiar with that terminology, hard forking, and exactly what you need to do, please allow me to do so. Yeah, so Rivian Millionaire, 51%. That's exactly what I was referring to. So you need to have 51% of the computing power in order to hard fork. So that way, I don't think it's that simplistic. Not anybody can just do it. You need a lot of mining rigs. So there we go. Yeah, so everybody's confirming that on that front. Yes, 51% of mining. So in order to do that, how are you going to get 51% of mining? I don't think it's going to be that easy, and I don't think anybody can just do it. I mean, can someone with a ridiculous amount size bank account and really deep pockets do it? Yes, possibly, but would they want to spend their money on that? So, okay, it's not the miners. So yeah, see what everybody else said. Code is open source. I know a couple girls that, okay, Marcus, come on. I almost read that one out loud there, my friend. But yeah, so yeah, that's exactly what you're getting at, I believe, and I don't think it's just that easy. So I know it's open source, but you still have to be able to take advantage of the chain. You have to take control of the chain, and you need to take control of 51% of it, and it's not that easy. So yeah, there you go. 51% of miners is like 1 trillion in capital. Or yeah, exactly. So there you go. It's not that simplistic. You can't just take it over. Not every average Joe can do it. Otherwise, it would have already been done. But they've already done it via Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. Let's see if we can continue to climb higher. We're starting to get that pullback. We grabbed some more off of the top here, guys. So we got that break through the volume weighted average price. But we got some big names hovering below VWAP, which is going to be the likes of Google, Amazon, and NVDA. So watch out for those. If they don't want to continue to climb higher, they're going to be running into some issues here with the TQs, but so far working out really well for us.
All right, caught in a down hold right now on ADGM. So I added into this one. I thought I had a good position, then the bottom really did drop off quite aggressively, so we're gonna have to be careful. Currently, the theoretical auction price, I'm well out of the money on this one. It's showing me 208. I'm long 242, so we're gonna take a hit here. If I get stopped out, my stop is below that $2 area. $2 has been a good area of support, at least on the day. It's been the kind of the area that we've been holding up since we've been bouncing off that previous halt level. The previous halt level was around $1.84, give or take, and then we clear it, and then we use 2 as a defense. So currently, we're halted at 212. Tap now showing me 11. Are we going to Adara?
Yeah.
Adara, go ahead.
Thank you, Sharif. And speaking of Sharif, I don't know if you noticed this small cap, but I might have a new one for you. OMH, Oh My Home. Fun name there for this one with about a 1.3 million share float. No news on Oh My Home, but yeah, maybe he's saying OMG here to some OMH. Back to you.
Right here, Dara, that made it onto the side chart earlier. It's a beautiful look. It's a 50% look right now. Very respectful of the moving averages as well as the volume weighted average price. It's been putting in higher highs and higher lows. It does have, though, wide range per candle. You can see that every time we kind of make that new high, we're met with aggressive selling. Let me make my case. So we're moving on our way. We get that big boy pop. Boom. Take out 2 3/4. Then all hell breaks loose to the downside. But we hold the 10 exponential, most notably. We do the exact same thing at 10:45. We catch an aggressive bid, breaking that $3 area to about 310. Boom, down, back into 250. We do the exact same thing again over here at 11:10. We make a new high, even with that 11:15 candle. Boom, right back down below 280. Every single time we popped up and we dropped back down, we ended up finding support at the 10. So take, history as a guide here if you want to trade it that way. Look at it, still respecting that green line on my chart, which is a 10 exponential moving average. So good call out by Adara. OMH, great looking pattern. We'll have to see if it continues to trade in that way. I'm still holding my position here. Now I'm seeing the theoretical auction price, the tap, show me 215. I already have my stop below that $2 area. as I watch SXTC as well. It's trying to work its way back above VWAP, so it did find support at the 20. It has a 2-candle hold up at the 20 exponential moving average on the 5, and now it's a skosh, above that $2 area and by extension of that VWAP, but it's having trouble clearing too right now. Full disclosure here on SXTC. So that's number one. It's good. It's above VWAP. The bad side is the lower high situation on SXTC still in play. Every candle since that 1050 candle on the 5-minute chart has put in a lower high. So you have to be careful. Okay, here we go. This is now open. SDGM, let's see if we can pop back up. I won't be adding anything over here. Let's see exactly how it trades. So it's trying to hold that $2 area. It's a skosh below VWAP. Let's see if it can catch a bit to the high side. Adara.
Keep an eye here on Faraday Future, FFAI. So I guess one of their subsidiary company here, Faraday X or FX, its CEO, Max Ma, apparently set to meet with White House officials to talk about tariffs so they can bridge a strategy to navigate trade turmoil. This is coming from another member of the company here, and by that I mean Faraday Future. So apparently Faraday X CEO Max Ma set to meet with White House officials to talk tariffs. We'll have to see what comes of that, if anything, but FFAI on watch. Earlier today, they also said they are resolutely opposing a reverse stock split. They want to get the price up, not through that, I guess. So keep an eye on FFAI. Pushing a little bit lower here. Back to you.
Thank you for that. So yeah, Eduardo, I see what you're saying now. So fully understood on that front. But we had another good question in the chat here. It says, Joseph, what do I do about a call option if it reverse splits? So I just want to give you the exact answer. So when a stock undergoes a reverse split, the terms of your call option are adjusted to reflect the new share structure. Here's what will typically happen. Number of shares. The number of shares each option contract represents decreases in proportion to the reverse split ratio. For example, in a 1-to-5 reverse split, each contract that originally covered 100 shares will now only cover 20 shares. So what does that mean for your strike? The strike price of the option is multiplied by the reverse split factor using the 1-to-5. For example, if the original strike price was $20, it would now become $100. Now for your contract value, the overall value of the option remains unchanged. These adjustments ensure that the intrinsic value, okay, so not the time value, the moneyness of the contract value of the option is preserved before and after the reverse split. So that's what goes on with that one. Ooh, we're taking a hefty pullback here, guys. On the TQs. Yeah, we're coming back into my break even. A couple more pennies, and then we're going to have to get out of this trade if it decides that it wants to come all the way back. A heavy rejection of the volume weighted average price with the likes of Apple starting to come back in as well too, Sharif. One of the stronger mags on the session. Oops, let me get rid of that. And here we go. You can see we tried to break out multiple times, but a lot of eastward type price action here, and then now heading back towards the low of the zone. That is not a good look on that front. But then we also have NVDA starting to curl back over here as well, heading to that $100, maybe even south of 100. We couldn't even reach the volume weighted average price. Not a good sign on that front. Let's see what the options chain is telling us. If there's any form of base here on NVDA, to tell us, hey, that's enough, we're not selling anymore, especially on that news. So at 100, we do have 74,000 currently open contracts on today's expiration cycle. Let's see if we can hold those levels, Sharif.
All right, man. Still watching ADGM over here as it's trying to hold that $2 level. It's neither dropping nor popping. So my read on it is lacking at the moment, quite frankly. I'm really unsure how this cookie will crumble. SXTC, for whatever reason, found support at the 20 and 20 EMA on the 5. And ADGM seems to be doing the same thing. It's not a level that I use, so I don't feel comfortable basing anything off it, but I'm already in this trade. So we're going to have to continue to watch this. We're long 29s, now showing me 22, so we're certainly out of the worst part of it. I can flatten out here and get out of some trouble, but it's not dropping, so then why would I, right? I mean, let me just see the trade through. And if I got to take the hit, I got to take the hit. Simple as that. Let's see if this one wants to pop up. It does seem like it is finding buyers at this level, but not with the same aggression with which it was trading earlier. So I am a little concerned, full disclosure, about this one. So if you're trading ADGM, be a little bit careful here. The bamboozlement is real. It is technically still putting in those higher lows. If you're looking at that area trough at around 1045, where the low was 191, generally, obviously, we're putting in those lows. You can kind of see the higher low situation. The higher high situation, though, is the one that we need right now because we're not shorting this, we're going long. So let's keep an eye out on this one. It's having trouble with low 20s now. So now the selling is coming in around 22, 23, sometimes in the 19s. Or, as I mentioned, the low 20s. So ADGM in focus. SXTC. This one was bamboozlement central. It continues to be bamboozlement central. Why? It has an ugly topping tail candle through VWAP. Probably got a lot of people long thinking, okay, well, look, we're reclaiming the volume weighted average price. We put in a new 5-minute candle to make a new high on a closing basis, and then all hell breaks loose. It drops from 216, quick as you like, down into 185, and now below VWAP. So this one ate for me until it can stay above the volume weighted average price. Back to ADGM, we're still hanging out in the 2 low 20s, 2 high teens. So 2 doji candles in a row with a very tight range on the 5-minute chart and almost non-existent body of the candle. And that means that the equilibrium almost for the moment is even between buyers and sellers, right? The buyers are pushing it up, the sellers are pushing it down, and no one seems to be winning, at least not yet. Let's see which way this cookie crumbles. OMH is the one that Adair brought to us there. It continues to defend that 10 exponential on the 5. Fantastic look. It's above $3, but below the high of the day at 335. It's putting in a new 5-minute candle, will make a new high. So the trend certainly is to the upside. We'll have to see if we can take out that 3 1/3, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Marcus James, don't forget, I haven't forgot about you. Sorry. So we'll go over CRWV here momentarily for you, but we got a 500 DOP super chat. Hello, people. What would be a good delta for a 1-year call leap option? 70-80. Thanks. See, that's the thing, all right? So if you're going leaps, personally, I wouldn't necessarily focus on the delta. Again, if you were to give me the underlying, then we can take a look at it for you. But for me, I would just go slightly out of the money, just because if you truly believe that the stock is going to continue to climb within the next year, then you can collect some extrinsic value just with that contract. So again, I wouldn't necessarily focus on the delta, just focus on the trade, your risk parameters, et cetera, especially when you're looking to buy a contract that far out, all right? So hopefully that answered your question, and thank you very much for that super chat. So my answer is very, okay, not everyone can handle the truth, but the data backs it since the genesis of Bitcoin, but I know you are a spiritual guy with an open mind and could handle it. Can't explain it on here because of care. Yeah, okay, that's fine. No, totally respect that. Thank you, Skirt. Much appreciated. So yeah, thank you for chiming back in. We wanted to see your take on why do you believe that specific time frame is the best to start allocating Bitcoin. What I'm remembering, what I'm comfortable with is that usually the 3rd year of the halving cycle is one of the strongest leading into the next one. So that's just my take on maybe why you're saying into 26 and into 27, because I believe that the next one is not until 28. So we had it in 24, and then 28 is going to be that next halving cycle. So yeah, the 3rd year usually the strongest. We got a nice bounce back here, guys, in the TQs. So hopefully we can break through VWAP. Apple's just moving sideways here today, guys. So you can see it just chopping around this range, going from top to bottom, thumps, and then grinds back higher. Let's see what kind of range we're actually trading in here to get more specific. So about, we'll call it 197 flat to 194. So about a $3 range if we want to tighten it up, because it has been trading in that. So in about a $2 range right here, guys, you can see Apple continuously just fluctuating, selling the highs and then buying the lows. So if it continues to pop, then maybe we get the continuation within the TQs. But right now, this is choppy. NVDA doesn't want to recover just yet. And then we still have Amazon and Google slightly below the volume weighted average price, Sharif.
Fat Pipe is back, Joseph. FATN up 28 2/3, 27%. Shout out to my man Bovin, a.k.a. my other pair of eyes. Shout out to my dude there in the chat. He's always helping me out when I've got my eyes fixated on a trade. He's letting me know what else is running. It's impossible to look at the chart, the level 2, the time and sales, and the scanner. So my man Bovin in the chat letting me know FATN is moving. Now, it's a little light on volume. It's got a bit more than 1 million shares traded so far, but Fat Pipe is having yet another good day today, 28 2/3. As I mentioned it last time, it was about 27%. The high of the day, though, guys, we're about almost, substantially below the high of the day, 1239 topping till candle. Now we're all the way back down to 1160. That's the bad news. The good news is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 is about $10.85, a little bit below 11. So we're well above the 10. So there is room for FATN to pull back and for you to pick it up at a more advantageous level. I would humbly submit $11 would be a really good area to pick this bad boy up, just because it's a little bit ahead of that 10 exponential on the 5, and it's the whole dollar level. So I'm going to go and throw it in order at 11.05, and come what may, we'll leave that bad boy there. And if it triggers, it triggers. If it doesn't, we'll look to trade it nonetheless. Now, again, I really want to tell you that the volume is light today on Fat Pipe. Right, 1.03 million shares traded. That is not a lot for a name that's a small cap gapper, $11. That's not really saying a whole lot there, but the chart pattern speaks volumes, so to speak. Get it? So we'll keep an eye out on that. ADGM coming back down into the low mid-teens again. It dances in the 20s. It dances in the low teens, holding the 20 exponent. That's almost now 15 minutes of this nonsense, right? So I'm a little concerned right now about ADGM losing the bid. I've already put my stop, but it is still a little concerning. OMH. I'm looking at picking this one, as I mentioned, up off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right here. And we're going to look to go long at that 290. I think I got 92s. That's fine with me. Anything below 80, we're gonzino on that. So let's go ahead and throw the stop there. And then simultaneously, we'll throw out some beak wetters. So in case this one does pop up, we're able to extract some profits. I got to go back here to ADGM, though, because now it's in the low teens right now, high single digits. So this one continues to drop. It is below the volume weighted average price. It does look like it will lose 2. And if it loses 2, that's the end of the trade for me there, Joseph.
All right, good luck there. Marcus James Reed, my friend, here we go on CRWV. I told you I wouldn't forget about you. So thank you for being patient. Much appreciated. So here we go. You're looking for the crack of 40. Where did all my things go? All right, so you're looking for the crack of 40 and the continuation to the top side. So one thing to know, we can go from the top of this. That's a hefty downtrend right here, and then you can see that we have this base. Until this cracks and sits on the backside of this trend, I think we're going to continue to bleed, right? So that's what you want to keep an eye out for here, is sitting on the backside of this trend to the downside, and then maybe you can get that slow climb back towards your target that you're specifically looking for there, all right? So just keep that in mind until that cracks and you hold it, then expect it to continue to move southward, all right? Southeast, that is. All right, so yeah, let's see what else we got going on. I see my guy Eduardo is continuing, so that's why I'm bearish on Bitcoin or any other coin. Anyone can copy the source code and change a name, which the float is theory infinite and thus inflationary. Okay, I appreciate your opinion. We respectfully disagree, but again, that's why we can have these constructive conversations and go back and forth, right? So I like taking information for both sides. Sharif does as well too, and we can either agree or disagree, and that's what gentlemen and people do. We have respectful conversations around here, and thank you very much, Eduardo, for your input there, my friend. So yeah,
I've never really understood why I have to dislike you if we disagree, and that's what a lot of people do these days.
I don't understand that either.
It's the political environment I think we live in.
So, okay, Sharif, if we agreed on everything and everybody liked the exact same thing and everybody wanted to do exactly what we would all be robots. It couldn't be more, it would literally, you would be a robot. And do you want to be more of a robot? No. I personally don't. No. So respectfully disagree, agree, whatever it may be, and carry on. There's probably going to be other subjects that you guys agree on. You may not agree on one. So what? Move on. Find something else to talk about. You know what I mean?
I completely agree with you, Joseph.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's it. Amen. Yeah.
No, I think it is kind of. I think a lot of what's happening these days is the political and the climate is if you're one side, I'm the other, and we don't see eye to eye on anything. We can't.
No mutual
I hate
ground.
that. I hate that because it's just not how I think.
What if
bro.
Eduardo likes UFC and football and hockey? All right, cool. We just don't agree on Bitcoin.
Are you talking to Eddie R?
No, Eduardo.
Oh, okay,
Eduardo Lindenmeyer. Who knows?
Cool.
He may
I like
be the
him
biggest UFC fan or the biggest hockey fan or something, and it's like, oh, cool. I love all that stuff too.
Absolutely, my man. Absolutely.
Thing, right?
All right, so that's the situation, Joseph. We're gonna continue to hear every side of the equation, and on this show, every opinion has a home, straight up. And I disagree with a lot of what Big Spile says. Shout out to the Big Spiled one, a lot. I mean, he looks at the world in a completely different way. Love the hell out of the dude. You know what I mean? And we're going to keep it that way. There's going to be a voice. Sorry, there's going to be a home for every voice on the show. Straight up, I really do mean that, even if I disagree with you vehemently. So I think Joseph would echo that sentiment as well. So here we go. Fat Pipe is coming right back down into that level that I've been waiting for. I've been waiting at 05s. It's dancing now with 09s. It's showing me 11 on the level 1 and on the bid, and then 11.20 on the other. So it's really opening up in the spread here. I don't know how I feel about that. That isn't usually my cup of tea with these spready small cap gappers. All right, we got a partial fill. I don't know how the hell I got a partial fill on that, but I did. Now, the deal is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 is at 1083. So if it doesn't hold 1080, it is over between me and this one. So we're going to go ahead and throw out the order there for that, and simultaneously we'll throw out some orders to the top side to catch any moves up on Fat Pipe. That's what we're looking at now. I'm still involved with all my trades. ADGM still didn't stop me out. It's still holding for whatever reason the 10 exponent or the $2 area. But this one we're doing real well. We're doing it freaking live. I'm talking about OMH. Shout out to Adara for calling this one out. We're gonna wet the beak there as well. Let's see if we can get that cross at 320. Thank you, Adara. I will try and get it over here, but it's not letting me get it right now. I mean, it's just like it's not letting me take it out. Where are we long here on OMH? 92s. I'm looking at 320s for my out on OMH. It just popped up quick as you like through 20s, but true to form, these tickers are a little spready today, so didn't cross, and therefore I did not get the fill. I will continue to pack my patience on on this one. I see Fat Pipe is right back above, and we got the fill there on Fat Pipe. Bang! No one got that innuendo. Come on now. Let's go. I appreciate you in there. All right. We're looking. I just saw Neil cracking up. I'm like, all right.
Neil almost fell off his chair.
Yeah, he did. Neil's good vibes, bro. All right. We're looking to do it live over here at 11 1/4. It's showing me 28s on the ask side of the equation, 16s on the bid. So we'll see if this one can pop up. Sorry. Joseph.
All right, man. Come on, TQs, hold up. But see, the thing is, though, NVDA isn't helping our cause, and neither are some of these big names. I know, who was trading?
Who?
Meta. Someone kept saying in the chat that it's like Meta, they're in some Meta, so let's take a look at that one there for you there, my friend. What are you guys laughing at here?
Sorry, bro.
What do you guys, don't apologize.
I always seem to throw that innuendo when Neil's taking a bite out of his food, and the food.
Right.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, have a good time. Technically Friday Junior. Meta's still moving sideways. I know you got some puts in Meta. Nice work there. Let's see what Adara's up to.
Right now, we're actually waiting to find out what Trump is up to. Donald Trump, president of the U.S. As you can see here, we have a schedule. This is posted every single day on X at TTV Research, usually before 11 a.m., so check it out there. 12 p.m., President Trump will be greeting the Prime Minister of the Italian Republic, Giorgia Meloni. So I have that stream ready whenever that occurs. I will be covering that if there is anything market moving. Then these two will have their bilateral meeting at 1:50 p.m. They're also having a bilateral lunch, but that's closed press, so I didn't include that. That's going to happen between the greeting and the meeting. So at 1:05 p.m., stay tuned for that as well. A couple different Trump events as we head into this final day of the shortened trading week. Back to you.
Yeah, we know that they're friends too. Like they're mutual admirers of each other. I'm talking about Giorgia Meloni and Donald Trump. He says good stuff about her. And he doesn't say a lot of good stuff about these European leaders, let me tell you. No, he does not. He did obviously entertain Keir Starmer. I don't know how to say his name, man. Keir Starmer. Starmer, thank you, Adara. Yeah, he did, and they seem to have good vibes, but I think that's just more Donald's admiration of England in general as opposed to him as a political leader. So we all know how Donald feels about the UK. He likes the UK, in case you're wondering. All right, guys, so we're taking some outs here. I took some more out on FATN. We've got a couple of beak wetters there that are kind of hidden because I've still got one unfilled beak wetter. I'm talking about FATN holding on the 10 exponential, but as I mentioned right at the get-go, this one, number one, is spready. Number two, the volume is kind of low for this type of name, okay? It's up 23%. It's got good technical support, but it is not clearing it with any vigor, so make sure you are trading this one correctly if you're going to trade it at all. I'm talking about FATN. All right, back to the one that's got me in trouble, full disclosure. ADGM. Look, it's putting in lower lows right now. I think I've already put my stop below $2. I don't think I want to move it. I'd rather just get stopped out and take the hit and have that opportunity possibly to get above that level and get the print, then take it out prematurely. So that's what I'm going to do on that. I'm going to let that one cook. OMH though. So we're out, almost out of this one. We've got one beak wetter left. We've got 92s on OMH. It kept spiking up into 3. I thought certainly I was going to get the 320, that is. I thought certainly I was going to get the print because the spread was not that wide at the level. I don't want to be quick to take this out because OMH is showing you over and over again that it is putting in higher lows. So if that's the case, then I don't want to paper hand this trade. Take advantage of that repetition. The higher lows has not stopped here on OMH. So I don't want to trade this too poorly, right, on the day. I'm kind of tired, but look, that's not an excuse. We'll try to do our best right now. OMH, I see higher lows, and therefore I don't want to take it out too quickly. Back now to FATN. You guys see, look at that. The price action showing 1130. I'm not getting filled. And that's because there's a prohibitive 30-penny spread on FATN right now. I know, Adara, when they're $300, it makes sense, but not when they're 11. I mean, like, come on, fat end, you're killing me here. So, oh boy, where is he at?
Where is he at?
There he is, bro. He's doing good today. He hasn't been here too many times this week, bro. Yeah, he was chilling. I know he traded at home this week. Yeah, I saw that. Well, he can post up wherever he wants, bro. He is the one, Canope. So that's the situation there, Joseph. What do you got on your side?
Yeah, guys, as you can see,
I was gonna trade fat. Get it,
yeah, I got out of this TQ trade here, guys. We broke the trend here and now sitting on the backside of it. And with the likes of the big names, again, if you're trading this underlying, you got to focus on the MEG, right? Because they're so heavily weighted. So that's what I just keep my eye on. I want to see what all of them are up to. And if NVDA decides that it wants to continue to move lower, then I don't think it's the best news for this. But Apple's still trading within that range. Amazon's still slightly below the volume weighted average price. So we got out of it. Could I be wrong here? Absolutely. But I think there will be some more opportunities that can potentially arise here if we decide to get the ball rolling, guys. So take a look at this. You can see we have the same kind of trend line going on, and then we have a resistance zone right here on Amazon. That could be a potential VWAP break right there as well. And if Apple decides that it wants to really start to get moving, big time on Apple because it's just moving eastward. Like, what kind of nonsense is this here, Sharif? Like, pick a direction here maybe and help your boys out and the market. If you break through some of these resistance zones, even Neil's got the hands going. Like, come on, Apple. Like, what are you
putting
doing?
in higher lows. Leave it alone,
it's
bro.
It's putting in higher lows. So is Amazon. The market is as well too. What happened?
Nothing, bro. I get defensive when anybody talks bad about Apple. It's like my child or something, bro. I gotta calm the hell down.
You're harder on your own child, but nobody else.
Yeah, well said, Joseph.
You're hard on it. Yeah, and that's like me, and I'm hard on Milo. I would like to think so. I'm probably not, but here we go. Like, let's see if we can break through some of these zones. I think this is going to be really important for this market to continue to climb higher. As long as the Qs are stuck below VWAP, there might be a potential short. And most definitely, if NVDA wants to take that additional leg lower and crack through that that $100 strike price with 80,000 open contracts expiring today, then that could be some bad news for this underlying asset, because that means hedge funds would have to start hedging. Firms would have to start hedging, and that could lead to some more panic selling there.
Can I tell you how out of touch I was before in 2020 when I started like doing the whole investing thing during COVID? I didn't understand what hedge funds were. I didn't know that they were made for the purpose of hedging.
Hedging their positions?
I didn't know, Joseph. I just figured they were big investment funds, and there was a name or there was a use of the word hedge that I didn't know. But clearly, that's what they were there for.
Yeah, so to protect the downside there.
You just mentioned it right now, so that's kind of what I want to.
Rivian Millionaire, Joe got a haircut. Yes, I did.
My man got faded, bro.
Someone said I had a fight with a lawnmower and lost. But yeah, I'm okay with that. The lawnmower was a good one. No, it wasn't offensive because I was obviously joking, but it's a good lawnmower fight because it turns out, I think, fresh, you know what I mean? Let's see what it does.
I do.
Just be aware here. I mean, we're a couple of minutes away from having here, I guess, the meeting between, or the greeting of Giorgia Meloni at the White House, that is the Italian Prime Minister, by Donald Trump. Then they'll have a meeting about an hour after this greeting. But before we get to that, NASDAQ on watch here. Politico reporting that the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has cautioned White House officials on their attempts to fire Fed Chair Powell. Now, why is this significant? Because Scott Bessent, this has been the second time at least that we've seen reported where he's actually tried to moderate Donald Trump's efforts. The first came, this was on April 4th, so a couple days after the reciprocal tariff announcement of Liberation Day, we had some reports suggesting that Scott Bessent was trying to moderate Trump's tariff attempts. Now, the reason this is significant is because his attempts could do so, people are saying, could actually split the White House apart and lead to tons of, I guess, fractions within the White House, could lead to more issues. So just be aware here, market dropping a little bit initially, but trying to recover on reports that U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent cautioning White House officials on their attempts to fire Fed Chair Powell, as reported by Politico. Back to you.
It's interesting there, Joseph. I mean, what's his name again, Adara?
Scott Bessent.
No. Our Jerome.
Too late, Powell.
So Donald Trump, he wakes up in the morning and he wants violence immediately, right? Like I don't know if he's sitting on the can, Joseph, or what he's doing, but his phone is in his hand, and that's when he's dangerous.
You got to see this Cat Williams bit, right? They're making fun. He's making fun of him because like Donald Trump is up at like 2 a.m. getting his re-truth ready, and he's just making fun of him. It's a funny bit there by Cat Williams.
Hold on, we got to pull this up, Joseph. I got Truth Social for the exclusive purpose of following Donald Trump. Right? Because, he's a market mover, so we got to put some respect on his name there. So here's the deal. Here's what he called him. He called him, what did he call him again? Where the hell is it, bro? Mr. Too Late. He's now referring to Jerome Powell as Mr. Too Late. It was Sleepy Joe, it was Crooked Hillary, it was Ron DeSanctimonious. What do we got, bro? Oh, is that what's it called? The James Webb Space Telescope. What's the problem there? Signs of distant life on a planet? I don't believe that. I need to prove. They're probably finding oxygen and organic material and stuff. Give me 1 second. So now his name is Mr. Too Late. Why? Why do you guys think his name is Mr. Too Late? Well, what have they been arguing about?
Oh, whoa. No.
Look, I'm not taking his side. All right, look, I'm just talking. I'm saying what he was saying, dude. I'm not the one who's saying it. Look, you guys got to figure things out. You can't be putting us in between your beef. We have investment accounts that we have to worry about, and you guys got to get it together.
Get it together.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
I'll call you back. So the point is, right? The point is that he wants Jerome Powell to cut rates. Jerome doesn't want to, obviously. He wants more data. Donald obviously wants to stimulate the economy now that the tariffs are having a bit of a headwind, and they're not seeing eye to eye. They haven't been seeing eye to eye since he appointed him. I think, when did he appoint him? 18?
I think that's what
it was 18. Thank you, Adara. So, yeah, I mean, nothing new there. They haven't been seeing eye to eye for a hot minute, and it's kind of the situation. So, all right, guys, let's talk a little bit about these trades here. So OMH, back at that level again, and this is the level I like it at. So we're going to look to punch in another little bit over here, look to take out some more. This is still continuing to put higher lows with that flat top. I'll submit to you guys at 315 to 320. The trend hasn't changed on OMH. It is continuing to put those higher lows, and that's why I did add at that position. We have a bit of a higher cost basis, but I'm fine with that because it gives me more outs. OMH, right? So I'm going to look to wet the beak here at 7s. Now that we added there, I'm going to leave my ultimate out though at that 320 area, or one of my outs, that is. All right, let's go back and have a look at Fat N. Yeah, this one's not really popping off with any aggression. I don't want to be nursing this trade. We're going to flatten out here, break even, Fat N. All right, we'll sit over here, and I'll take the fill right there if I can. You have to cancel these ones before I do that. So Fat N, here we go. We're going to sit at 05, see if we can get that one break even, because this one does look like it's going to flat bottom break. So we'll see if we can get something on that one. What else we got over here? Yeah, there's an interesting pattern that's starting to form here on SXTC. So I'm a little confused about this one. This one actually could be a bear flag or a bear pennant. Entertain me for a second. So down move, right? So we know that this is kind of the pull, the upside down pull. And now we have a compression pattern with lower highs, but we also have higher lows. So flip that upside down, and that could be a bull pennant. I'm seeing a bear pennant here. Not that I'm going to act on it. I don't like shorting these ones, especially if they're above the volume weighted average price, but I am certainly seeing something here of note on SXTC. We'll have to see if we can weasel something into that if it does allow us. So I got flat there on Fat N, profitable on it, but not the best trade there because it was not complying to the high side. I just didn't want to give too much back on this one. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, I got nothing going on right now, my friend. I'm waiting patiently here as we start to consolidate and move eastward here in the market. I mean, Apple's just doing the same thing. I talk about it time and time again. It's moving the market sideways as well too here, guys. So you can see, let's pull up here. Okay, so nice working. And you can see we're just moving sideways. So top of the range, bottom of the range. At what point are we going to break out? We have to be patient, wait and see. One thing to note, guys, we have to always monitor this volume by time profile to see what's going on. Are we ready to break? Have we consolidated enough? And have we grabbed enough liquidity in order for us to break through some key resistance zones? Now, why are we trading within this range? Let's take a look at the chain and see what exactly it's telling us, right? So why is NVDA holding $100 to a T? Well, going back and look at the chain. 79,000 open contracts, 74,000 open contracts currently at that $100 strike price. That's a tough level to break through. That is a put wall we are holding now as support. Let's see what Apple is telling us. Why can't we crack through 197? Well, what do we got at 197.5? On today's expiration cycle, 6,000, but go up to 200, and then we have 27,000 open contracts. So that's where you can see a little bit of overhead resistance here, guys. We just don't want to take that next leg up, and you can see we put in a peak around exactly 197. So there it is, the options market just again telling you what ranges we could possibly trade within, and I'm looking to implement this significantly more. I told you guys yesterday, I've seen this now twice. During NVDA's earnings report, I've seen a ridiculous amount of open contracts on the call side, and then I've seen it just before they released that news here that the H20, you're going to need a license to ship the H20 now to China. And I've seen that roughly the same amount of contracts. And look what happened on the earnings report. And then look what happened in the post market as well, too. So those are coming in, those levels are coming in really, really good. And I'm going to start to build a system around it because I think the accuracy on them can be relatively high. And then the risk to reward can be there as well, too. So going to continue to focus on what the options chain is telling us because I think there's a lot of answers there, Sharif.
All right. Sounds good, man. Okay, we are losing the bid here on OMH, so we're going to have to stop out of that one. I'm going to continue to watch that if it bounces off the 20 exponential. On the deeper retracement, OMH, got one beak wetter on this one. We'll take that one break even on the last little bit there. The 2 80 area, 275, that's the 20 exponential moving average on the 5, but it's already dipping below that. I'm talking about OMH. It's losing the bid aggressively now. Okay, that was a good out there because it's about 20 pennies where we got to look at it continuing to bleed. Yeah, these ones are around for a good time, guys, not necessarily a long time. I know it sounds super lame to keep saying, but that is the actual truth. Look at that. It's bleeding. It's going nuts over here. It's no 20, no nothing, no half dollar, no areas of technical support except maybe at that 250. We'll have to see, does it find support at 250? And if it does, it's going to have to do it without me because it's going to be a long below the volume weighted average price. That ain't for me. Yeah, this ADGM thing is the wrong trade here, Joseph. And I got to find a way out of here with the most amount of grace because this is the wrong trade. It is now putting in lower lows and lower highs. It's a bit of a downward channel. There's a seller of note in the 20s. Anytime we catch a bid and move up into that 220s here, ADGM has been met with aggressive selling. And on top of that, the lower lows as well keep me feeling that, this one's going to flat bottom break through $2. So $2 has been a great support level for ADGM intraday, but it doesn't have to last that way forever. I think this one loses the bid, and I think I end up getting stopped out on this one. Now, I was considering adding aggressively into that 2 on a drop into 2, and then looking to kind of break even on a pop through that 10 penny area. And it's been showing you that it can do that 10 penny pop. It goes up into 20. But I think that, I do that, and then all of a sudden it breaks $2, and I end up losing double what I was going to originally lose. So I'm a little concerned about ADG. I'm not going to lie, guys. We'll have to see how this cookie crumbles after we get back from Happening Now and Neil's lesson of the day. Oh, my bad.
Sharif just mentioned flat bottom breaks there. We're kind of seeing something happening here in the Qs. This is a 15-minute chart repeatedly finding a little bit of the support at that 4. Whereas I guess around that 443 level with slightly lower highs. So NASDAQ, maybe a little bit of an intermediary flat bottom break. Looks like that kind of structure is on watch here. We're going to pop up in the market, but right now we're just trying to see if we can sustain that pop. Certainly not sustaining many pops is UNH, United Health, decisively to the downside. They missed on EPS, they missed on revenue, and they also provided very disappointing guidance there for fiscal 2025. I'm just looking here. Donald Trump is stepping outside here with his greeting for Georgia Maloney. He's just pointing to her right now. That's all that's happening there. But be aware, Georgia Maloney and Trump entering the White House. Looks like that greeting may now be over. But be aware, they're going to have their bilateral meeting at 1:05 p.m. Eastern. Hertz also on watch here, HTZ. This one driving to the upside continuously after we had Bill Ackman's position. Reportedly 19.8% of the company is owned between shares and swaps by Pershing Square, which is, of course, Bill Ackman's firm. That gives them the second largest shareholder of HTZ. So with that in mind, we're going to send you back over to Neil, where hopefully nothing hurts, with his lesson of the day.
Ooh, thank you very much, Adara. The puns are strong with this one. Great pun. I like that one with the Hertz. No, nothing to do with Hertz today, but I promise you this, it will hurt if you don't follow the rule on this lesson here today. When I went to driving school, one of the first things that they made you, the one I went to was kind of a hardcore one, but it was good because your insurance is lower if you did Young Drivers of Canada. They always talked about doing the old walk around. Before you get into the vehicle, walk around and make sure everything is copacetic. When you get in, make sure you check all your mirrors. Just go through your checklist. Know what your route is going to be. All of that kind of stuff. In trading, it's the same thing. And I'm going to show you why not, and things that you would assume are okay might have a little something off, and it can end up costing you. And there's two things. The second part, of course, is your trade preparation. The first is just your system, your keyboard setup, man, like your quotes, your data, like all of that. Are you A-okay? And sometimes the simplest thing could be off, and it doesn't matter why, but it could end up costing you. I'm going to show you an example of that here. If you're watching the morning show, you probably know exactly what I'm going to say. So the idea for myself, and I'm showing you the black chart for a reason here, the idea I had on the gap up for Alibaba was we've liked the short for a couple of days now on Alibaba after that breakdown. We liked the short there, we liked the short yesterday. Both days good shorts. Fine. So it gapped up. It's still underneath that first prior day, the first up day's bounce level, so I like it. I liked anything in front of the 113. Do you get 113? No. So when I don't get the pop, what do? I want a short trend with VWAP. And if it closes above VWAP, I want to get out. So what you're going to see here is at the open, there's like one wick, and then we just start closing underneath the volume weighted average price. So great, Neil's short, and Neil never got out of the short. I don't usually speak that way, but it's fun. Well, that's not what happened. I did get short, reloaded it, and then in what was a bounce in the market at the time, it violated my rule, right? Like we broke above these prior closes, above VWAP. That's a punch out. That's a stop. But if you notice something distinctly different between the volume weighted average price here and the volume weighted average price here, it was about $0.50 different because one of my charts was missing a little bit of data. Something that I can look at and know, and I'm, it was a new version today, and I was the only person on it on the show, and I should have been able to detect that. I would have seen this the entire morning. It's just a simple thing that if I correct that, either I'm jumping right back in the trade instantly because I recognize it, or I'm just never getting out in the first place. All you can do is move on to the next. I did short the first available good pop setup that I could get back into the low, but you don't want to miss out on what you, this was the short that I liked the most today, and we didn't really hammer it because I made a simple error, and I'm not here blaming it on anything but myself because I could have seen that was off, and if you use an indicator, you want to make sure that everything's okay with it. The other rule that I always say you should do in your preparation is whatever was your best or one of your best trades the day before, it was a level, direction, whatever it might be, maybe you should go back and look at that name in particular. I'll give you two names that I was short yesterday because we're down in the morning, made it all back in the afternoon at lunch, mostly at lunch, in a couple of reversion plays. One of them was on Holo. It's Hollow, I guess, right? Trend up, trend reverse, acceleration through 50. Now, if this was a great trade and I see it trending up into the same level the next day, what should I be doing? I should have eyeballs on. I didn't pull up Hollow this morning. Just didn't do it. But it trended up in the pre-market. It broke the trend. I could have been sitting in this before the open with a stop at the high, and then you get a clean dump. Basically into the same levels. Now, it curled a little bit lower, so like a couple of cents lower, and then it broke down and made a bottom a couple of cents lower. Pretty much the exact same move. We grabbed this move yesterday, so why not take the same? It's a good 15 to 20% move. You can have it both times. So I didn't. Why? Because one of my better stocks, there was lots of stuff happening, the gap ups, NVDA, all that. It's going to take your attention. But if you notice it, and it was a good trade for you, maybe you get something almost the same. And another one, which was a good short yesterday, was SMCI on a trend reversion break. Now, this is a bit different because if you were shorting this reversion, which is the one same as Hollow, that was the short that I had earlier yesterday. But if you look at the second part of that move, okay, so there's your short into the VWAP hold. Look when it breaks down. You had the exact same thing off the same levels. History doesn't always repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And if you go through your checklist, you will be able to find some easier trades based on what you saw the day before. But also make sure your setup is copacetic and don't make the mistake of having a bad indicator. And we're going to go back to Adara, but that's your lesson of the day.
Thank you for that, Neil. Let's take a look here at Tesla's Dojo supercomputers. Apparently, this is their in-house built computers. This is what they use to train their FSD. Nothing super market moving, but interesting to know here. Tesla releasing photos of their Dojo supercomputer to train their full self-drive. Also, before we send you back here, we have some news here. Donald Trump saying here during his meeting with Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, or at least his greeting of Meloni, saying that he is, quote, very confident that they can reach a trade deal with the European Union. So Trump saying that he has some confidence in the U.S. ability to reach a trade deal with the EU. We're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But we might not have to wait that long for more comments from Trump because he and Giorgia Meloni are going to be having their bilateral meeting at 1:05 p.m. Eastern, just under an hour from now. Back to the Bash Brothers.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Yeah, I was watching as he met her on the White House grounds. It was, he embraced her. He seemed to be very happy that she was there. As I mentioned earlier, I think that he is genuinely a fan of hers. So we'll have to see, if any trade deals come out of that, if she helps kind of lower some of the tension between the European Union bloc right now and the United States. We'll have to see if she can act as an intermediary between the two trading blocs there. So interesting look, and we'll obviously be covering that for you. Adair's at the big desk, and she's going to know exactly what's going on. So stick with us, right, guys? We're going to be bringing you all the news on that meeting. All right, new position for me here. I weaseled into MSGM. This is a new small cap gapper du jour. I got bottom wick so far 78 with the beak at 85. Now I'm waiting at 95. Okay, this was a pullback into the 10 exponential on the 1. This is not the end of the trade for me. I'm looking at adding more at the volume weighted average price. Currently, the volume weighted average price at $1.70. So I'm looking to front run it here by putting my order at $1.72. I'm talking about MSGM, guys. It's up 62%. It's a dollar stock, so this one can get crazy likely. Let's talk a little bit about the details. MSGM, we have a float of 1.59 million shares with a short float of less than 0.93% of that float being borrowed for short. Let me just double check that on my other platform here to see if they jive. I'm seeing 1.2 million shares on mine, and as I mentioned, 1.59. So not that big of a discrepancy here between my platforms with respect to the float. So smaller float, but kind of slowing down a little bit in its ascent. It was quite aggressive earlier on. Let's see if it's able to kind of hold the bid. I'm looking at adding into this position, at that 170 area. I'm also involved in ADGM. So much do I hate it, I can't even pronounce the name. I can't even get myself to say the letters. That is how much disdain I have for this one. I'm kidding, of course. I'm exaggerating for effect, as I typically do. No, but I'm looking at getting out the majority of the position. If this pops up into the mid-teens, I'm getting the hell out of this. Simple as that, okay? This is a bad trade for me. I want everyone to really understand that this ADGM trade is a bad trade. I found myself in a halt, and I had a larger position, so I'm trying to basically DCA and try to break even. This is not the way that I typically trade, nor the way that I would want anybody else to trade, okay? So ADGM, not a good trade for me, an outlier. I never mentioned anything about this. GCI is a rocket ship right now. It's not giving you that much of like a notional move, but it has a low of day of 297, now it's 371. It has no pullbacks below the 10 exponential on the 5. This is what I'm looking at over here on my chart. This is a buy program, bro. Jeez, this is clean. I mean, even at the times where you do pull back a little bit, the wicks don't even touch the 10 exponential. And now we're really moving here. 374 high day on GCI. I don't really know what the headline is, but the point is it's a good technical break, and keep your eye out on it if you're interested in something like that. So let's move back now to the other one over here, MSGM. Just got that ad at the $0.25. So let's go ahead and wait at 77s and see if we can extract some profitability if this is to pop up off the volume weighted average price, Joseph.
Okay, guys. Yeah, so we'll take a look at this IBIT here, but what I was referring to Sharif earlier was that we have this consolidation phase going on AAPL, and I was waiting for that break. I seen somebody in the chat say short Apple. Not going to tell you how to trade or what to trade, but do you necessarily, we've gone over this setup multiple times and just following the volume. Could we be wrong on this time? Absolutely, but you don't want to short something necessarily when you see that volume spiky really come in. Can we reject it? Absolutely. I'm not going to say you're right or wrong, but just be weary of what's going on with the volume by time profile. So we're going to look for the continuation to the top side here, because it seems that with that news, that tariff news, that could be some positive signs here for AAPL. As we come back into the zone, I mean, if we crack 196, then we have to get out of the trade. There's no questioning that. But let's see if we can follow the volume and continue to the top side. Okay, so something else just came out. As we can continue to dump, so we're just fading those pops. We're going back into the middle of the range. I'm hearing a call for Adair. I'm curious to hear what this one is about. Let's see what Adair is up to here, guys.
Yeah, I'm just seeing some comments from Trump. I'm not really sure where, because the stream showing his greeting of Giorgia Meloni of Italy actually ended. But Donald Trump saying here apparently that the U.S. and Italy have a very good relationship, and in general that apparently things are moving along on trade, quote, very well. So Trump expressing some positive thoughts here, and I guess on how these trade negotiations and talks are moving. It's unclear if he means Italy, excuse me, specifically, and then more in general. Also, more comments coming through from Donald Trump, so I'm going to go over these pretty quickly. He said they're going to make fair deals, and they're in no rush to announce trade deals. So not rushing here, much like Fed Chair Jerome Powell yesterday saying they're not going to be rushing on rate decisions. Trump saying that he's not going to be rushing here on trade deals because they're going to be making fair deals. So no announcement rushes. Earlier we've heard apparently 75 countries are in negotiations, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But NASDAQ pushing a little bit lower as Trump says they're not in any particular rush to close any deals. Back to you.
Go in no rush, and he's going to make the best bigger deals that there is. So yeah, just fading the pop. But here we go. Let's see if we can continue to move. We're in this one. We like it for a potential break. If the volume can be sustained, then we do believe we might be on the right side of this trade. But we are starting to construct lower highs. That may not be a positive sign there. So again, I notice a lot of people in the chat are getting frustrated. It's just like I mentioned this before. It's such a headline-sensitive market, and you have to be prepared for that. You can't be in at like full risk right away. You need that thesis to start working out for you, and then you can slowly start to build in. And you need to widen those stops. So just pay attention to this headline-sensitive market and start small because the volatility is most definitely in here, Sharif.
Yes, sir. All right, we're going to end this misery here on ADGM. I'm going to take the loss and just call it a day. So that's the situation right now on that one. The only one we have is MSGM. It's going to have to hold this 55 penny area. There's a lot of pullback on a lot of these small cap gappers. The continuity, I feel, is not there in the days where they're respecting technical areas of support. It doesn't seem like it's happening today. So you got to trade them a different way. That's kind of my feeling right now on the small cap gappers. We'll have to see if MSGM can pop back up. We're a couple of pennies out of the money on this one, but not in the same fashion that we were on ADGM. ADGM will be my biggest loser of the week, by the way. So that was a very badly executed trade. This one's going to haunt me because of just how I trade. I should have been getting out on the break of VWAP. I added into that 220. That was the wrong thing to do. Once it had lost VWAP, I shouldn't have been adding there. My assumption was, oh, look, it's just going to wick and then pop back up, right? It had respected that level multiple times. I was wrong. I shouldn't have been making that guess that it was going to do that. So that's my thinking on that one. So we'll have to look and see if we can do a little bit better. Now, currently, there's really no small cap gappers that I'm really liking on these markets right now. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about Hertz, and we'll talk about Hertz in a second. But it's still below yesterday's high, below $9. So I'm feeling there could be some bag holders here. As you've heard me say before, I kind of treat these after-market highs from the day prior to be very similar to the pre-market highs that we would get because people are trading it in the aftermarket for a specific reason. And it's because it doesn't have a halt parameter, a volatility halt parameter, that is, right? And so when we have these aggressive moves up, sometimes, you know, the bag holders holding it at $9 or like say $8.50 to $9, well, they're going to want to get out if the price action moves into that $9, $8.50 area today. And so that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Hertz, I'd like it a lot better if it cleared 9. Clearly, it's been putting in a bit of an uptrend since that $7 area, and now we just wicked into 8 1/3. So clearly, there's a trade to be had here. And if I look at it a little bit more deeply, it does have somewhat of a respect here for the 10 exponential off on the 5, at least since this volume spike at 11:30 today. It's been putting in those higher highs and higher lows with some obvious opportunities to pick it up on the dip trades in and around that green line you're seeing there on your screen on said black chart. So Hertz, I'll be looking at that. I also mentioned GCI. GCI also looking decent over here. Again, it's not really giving you much of a notional move, but you know, you don't really need to. You can size in substantially on GCI, right? It's $3. You can take a bigger position. And on top of that, it's not really a volatile name. I mean, look at this. The range per candle is quite, you know, decent. You can stomach that. Also hasn't been breaking trend. The trend has been quite respectful to the high side, respecting that 10 exponential. So GCI for me could be another interesting one here if it doesn't hold up. The other one is, let's have a look back here at MSGM. It's still below VWAP. If this wants a double bottom and get above the volume weighted average price, we can entertain this one again. But for now, it's below VWAP, and I just won't be breaking my rule. I've made too many mistakes today to make any more of these rule breaks. So that's the situation. Let's have a look at the large caps because I've said literally nothing about these. So let's have a look at the MAG and where we're at on the future. So the futures clearly using VWAP here at the volume weighted average price. It's rejecting that level. Here's my case. First area, 950, pop into VWAP, reject. Again, 1015 or 1115, excuse me, pop into VWAP, reject. And now you have a 2-candle rejection at the volume weighted average price at 1205 and 1215. So the futures being kept down, again, using VWAP as a technical area of resistance at Dara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Avenex. Want to see how a Forex robot performs without risking real money? Text Forex VIM free. In demo risk-free and test Forex VIM risk-free in demo mode. Forex VIM is an auto trading robot that analyzes trends and execute trades for you, but before you use it live, test it first in demo mode. This free backtesting demo lets you see how it works with historical data, adjust settings without real money risk, and decide if it fits your strategy before going live. Perfect for beginners or pros who want data-backed results. Try the free backtesting demo now. Link in the description box. Back to you.
You got anything you want to cover? I want to cover this Apple here real quick, Sharif. So I feel like I'm fighting. Oh, here we go. Nice
I saw that spike. I saw that spike.
Let's go here, Sharif. But what I was going to say here is that I believe that I'm fighting the options market, which could not be a good thing. I want to see if we can push to 200. I'm going to try to diamond hands this here. No Devin Haney. But yeah, who should I refer to? I like Deontay Wilder. Diamond hands. Let's go here, Sharif.
Get it, Joseph.
Let's go. We're getting that pop that we're looking for, guys. I mentioned follow the volume. How many times have I said this to you guys? Just follow the volume and look at that volume spike as we break out. Before we came back, I'm like, just keep an eye on this. This consolidation phase is really nice, and I'm gonna look to take some off here. About 30% there. We're gonna leave some for a run. I want to push to 200. Nice breakout. You can see that we even added to the position for that break of that key level, and now we're trading at 198. So a nice about 60 cents right there we caught. So really, really good look here on AAPL there, guys. So continuing to move, but we're struggling. It's a pure battle against the options market here, so I want to be patient. I'm not going to give it too much risk. I will get out at that break-even stop, just because if we do decide to dump, I mentioned before that we're fighting the chain. Too many open contracts between 197 and 200. That's going to give us some overhead resistance. So there we go. Gorev, nice little pop there. So there we go. Yeah, be patient. I think it's going to be more of a grind. If some of these other big names are going to participate, that's only going to benefit us and Apple. Let's see what Adair is up to.
Bang.
Keep an eye on this SOC. This is Sable Offshore Corp. Nice pop to the upside. A judge here has denied the California Coastal Commission's requested temporary restraining order. So basically here, SOC could have faced a temporary restraining order from the California Coastal Commission. That that TRO has been denied. So SOC pushing to the upside. Back to you.
All right, yeah, so guys, I got stopped out there. I was looking for more of a continuation. It's not going to be a clean break, but we got a nice little pop there, 30% off of the position on that pop. So a nice little go, and there we go. I think it's going to continue to climb higher. Maybe I didn't diamond hands this. I Devin Haney did. I apologize for that one there. So yeah, Devin Haney. Call me Devin Haney.
No, I'm never ever going to call you Devin Haney.
But yeah, there he goes. It's continuing to move. I should have held slightly longer, waiting for the break of those key levels. And there you go. You get another spike to the top side. So we entered, added, took some off, and then we got stopped out without that pop they were necessarily looking for there. Sure.
Imagine being a grown-ass man and dad runs every aspect of your life. Like, I don't know about that, man.
I mean, Devin, well, I guess his dad's his trainer too, right?
No, but like his dad's his mouthpiece, bro. Like, have you ever seen this guy's dad? Like,
yeah, I remember when Javante was making fun of Devin Haney. He's like, we're going to 145, bro. It's like, bro,
where's Devin Haney fight? 154?
No, he's like 140 something.
147, yeah. So he's welterweight. He's actual welterweight. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Or 35 even.
Where's what's Ryan fighting at? Is he fighting at 154 or fighting at 160 now? Ryan's gotten bigger.
He's gotten bigger. I forget who his next fight is up.
It's like
fight's
in May.
135 or 140 something.
He's fighting Rolly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's fighting Rolly. So that's 130.
Rolly's getting knocked out.
That's a 135.
Rolly can't. I like Rolly. I like Rolly's personality, but I don't think he can take a punch. That's the thing.
Rolly, no.
No, he can't take a punch.
There's
and
no
Ryan
way.
can hit. So
right?
It's going to be interesting.
Most definitely. Broly's going to get knocked out real quick.
I think I would agree with that as well. So, yeah, it's kind of my Prince Nassim, Bree-Bot 5,000. Have you guys seen Prince lately?
He's big.
He's a big boy, bro. You should have seen him and Lennox Lewis, bro. Lennox, because they're both English. Well, he fought for us in Canada, but he still has English ties. That is, obviously, I'm talking about Lennox Lewis. Man, Lennox is like 6'5", right? Prince is like 5'6", the opposite.
Yeah, if that.
And but Prince is a bit bigger.
Yeah, you gotta go wider.
Yeah.
Call it wider.
Yeah,
but I mean, his style was like, there's nothing else like Prince.
No. I haven't seen anything like that. You gotta assume that it was mostly a gift. Like his kid's fighting now. Have you seen his kid?
No, I haven't seen
his kid's fighting as well.
You know who has an identical style? His name is Ryan Whitaker, I believe.
I've heard of him.
And he fights out of the UK.
Yeah.
Actually, Selena's friend's fighter. Yeah. So he's sick.
I love that guy, bro.
Yeah.
Ben Whitaker.
Ben Whitaker,
man.
Whitaker,
Yeah. Ridiculous style.
It's like the drunken style, right? It's so
but he's gifted.
Cool.
You can tell he's gifted in speed. Right? He's gifted in accuracy.
He does everything. It's just like, wow, okay. That's some cool stuff. Let's see what we got going on.
Oh, because it just dropped aggressively, Katina Man. That's why. I was looking at the Katina Man was nice enough to get me shorts on SXTC, and this one just dropped nicely. So what I'm going to wait for is another move back into the volume weighted average price, and I'm looking to get short now on SXTC. Look, I feel these small cap gappers just don't have them in it today. All right, they've been losing the bid on the pops. They haven't been respecting technical areas of support. I'm going to try to be really careful with this one. Obviously, I don't want to be caught offside on a short. It's completely different than being caught offside on a long, in case you don't know. But that's what we're going to look to do now. Katina Man's got me SXTC. Short, we'll be looking to take this one short at the volume weighted average price, Joe.
All right, Sharif, check this out. Robinhood changed the game, cutting commissions. They made trading more accessible, but now Trade the Pool is leading the next revolution, limited risk trading. Your risk is capped at a one-time evaluation fee starting at just $47. You can choose how much you want to manage, from $5K to $200K. Of the company's capital. That means no margin calls, no account blowups, and no stress because it's someone else's capital. This is a limited risk revolution. Be part of it at tradethepool.com and scan the QR code and save 10% there, guys. And I mentioned this before, that you're going to pay tuition, right? There's no getting around that fact that you're going to be paying tuition to the market, and you may as well just test out Trade the Pool to see if you can pass that evaluation, even if it takes you a couple times. I think it's worth it at the end of the day. And Jose Villa, what does that mean? Come on, man. Cut me some slack. All right, so options chain question for you. Are you familiar with the max pain level on expirations? Apparently, it's the price where the optimal number of options will expire worthless. Yes, exactly. So I went over this conversation with another individual in the chat. So when you go looking for a max pain, you want to be able to identify the highest levels of open interest at an extreme high or an extreme low, and that could be priced in as the max pain of an options market. So that's the most simplistic definition I guess I can give you. But yeah, max pain would be you'd see an extreme amount of high levels of open interest. So we'll use the example of NVDA. I believe it was a 120 strike price or something along those lines with 150,000 open contracts. If we go north of that, that's quite a bit. You don't see anything that high north of that strike, and that would be classified as the max pain level there, Sharif.
All right, man. We're in a few positions. We're taking this one short aggressively. We're going to thank the Katina Man for getting me shorts because we're doing it live, baby. And we're getting short on this bad boy over here. I don't usually take these small cap gappers short, but it's just that kind of a day today. So let's have a look at see what the situation is. Looking for this one to break down ideally below that $1.75. It's had a lot of support at $1.75. I'm talking about SXTC. It had support at $11.15, again at $11.20, and then that little bottom wick right now that we put in at $12.20 also bounced off that $1.75. So I'm all ears and eyes and whatever else to see if we can get that flat bottom break. I've kept a tight stop above that $2 area, but we're going to have to see about that, whether it wants to continue to head to the downside. So here's what I'm doing. doing. We're going to go ahead and wait just like that, and we'll put in the stop there. What else am I doing over here? So we've got that one on. We've got MSGM again. I'm looking at taking out some at 78. There's the first print there. Okay, let's see if this one wants to head up a little bit. MSGM is back above the volume weighted average price, and we just got the first peak winner there. We're long 74s, just took some at 78. Now I'm waiting at 82 and then 88s. We'll see if this one wants to run or what the situation is with this one. GCI, I also weaseled into this one. Going to be a tight stop below the 10 exponential moving average, but layering my orders on GCI, it's been very directional on the day. Let's see if it ends up being that way. So a lot of pullbacks right now on these small cap gappers. Let's see if we can take them short. That's what I'm doing with the SXTC. Adara.
Charles Gasparino here, Fox Business contributor, commenting once again on tariffs. He's reporting here that apparently White House officials have told him that if the current trajectory of these negotiations continues for tariffs, they expect to announce a trade deal soon with Japan. No details as to what the deal is, and also the fact that we're heading into the Easter holiday could apparently slow down the progress of this deal. But regardless, some White House officials telling Charles Gasparino they expect a deal soon with Japan. Furthermore, Trump commenting here, apparently that he's thinking that the U.S. will have, quote, little problem making a deal with Europe or anybody else, quote, because we have something everybody wants. Back to you.
Consumers, the buyers, the debt, the credit card holders. Yeah, the home equity holders that have tons of equity in their home that can pull it out and spend. That's what he's got. He's got the world's biggest market. He knows that. He's trying to leverage that, how much he can leverage it, and to what extent, and to how much, and to what extent people are willing to play his game and call his bluff. We're gonna have to wait and see. But this is uncharted territory. Excuse me. I kind of feel like with these markets, I don't know how everybody else feels about this, but you know, I think he's in a grand experiment right now. No one really knows how this is all going to pan out. There hasn't been this kind of aggressive tariff push in how long, Joseph? We're almost going on 100 years, give or take. We were saying during the Great Depression or something like that.
The last time, yeah, I remember that's when everything went to ish after that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, so it's going to be super interesting. I mean, for me anyway, obviously it hurts the long-term account, and you know, I'm not. Let's just call a spade a spade. The fact of the matter is, though, I don't know how this cookie crumbles. I don't think a lot of people know how this cookie crumbles, and that's why you're seeing so much uncertainty in the market right now, and that's being priced in to these stocks, and that's kind of the situation. Guys, ADGM is curling back up here, man. Oh, and then never broke two. Oh, silly Sharif. Silly Sharif. Yeah, brother, I know. It's been that kind of day today, Katina, man, I'll tell you. But that's the situation right now. How do you guys feel about that, man? Andrew N. 4% of the world's population and 40% of the world's capital. Come get some. He's making his point very clear. I think we're echoing the same sentiment, you and I. I think you're seeing exactly, or you're saying, sorry, exactly what I'm saying, which is, like it or not, man, the U.S. has the biggest market. They have the biggest buying power. And you can like it or not. It really doesn't matter to me. But that's the situation, Joseph.
I think as long as the states stay on top of the throne, then these companies will be good. It may seem absolutely disastrous right now, but if we truly believe that this stuff is rigged, then you're going to continuously see highs. It could be, this is noise in my opinion. It's very loud noise. There's no question about that. But at the end of the day, as long as America stays king, these companies will remain at the top of the throne. And again, you just have to be able to sit through some of this noise. And it's very, very loud noise, and it can be very deceiving at times. But if you think long-term, Sharif, I think that America will always will come out on top, and so will some of these big names with the likes of Apple, NVDA, etc. So yeah, that's just my opinion on that one there.
And goodness, I hope so, bro. All my investments are based on it, and I don't really foresee. Let's just call a spade, Joseph. Yeah. I don't foresee strong Canadian growth in the presence of a weak American economy. I just don't see it, bro.
What is this saying? So America catches a cold, we get the flu.
That's always been the adage. The old adage has been, And as much as the current Canadian government and a possible new government that's coming in would like to diversify away from the U.S., in the short term, at least in the short to intermediate term, there is no viable option. Come on, bro, give me a break.
Nothing. What are you going to do? Like, nothing else is sustainable. Like, think about for how many years we would say that China is not investable. If you want to park your money somewhere, it's in usually American markets, right? Whether it be fixed income and even in the equities market, you just want to partake in the American economy because it's the strongest and the biggest one for a reason.
Exactly, bro. I mean, yeah, look, you can try to, make all the calculated guesses you want about what the Chinese are doing, where we end up in 25 years. All right, look, reasonable people can disagree about that, right? About where China is. Could they maneuver out of some of the problems that they're having, population issues or population growth issues, I should say. Some of the real estate issues that they're having in China obviously have been a bit of a headwind, excuse me. But I think those are all manageable issues. Now, here's the deal, though. The population one in China, I think, is a bit of a bamboozler. We saw that with Japan. Yeah. They had stagnation in their population, and they don't embrace immigration. And I don't see China embracing immigration either.
No,
I gotta tell you the truth.
I don't see it any.
I don't see that. I don't see China becoming an immigrant country in the same way we didn't see Japan look to that option when they had a population stagnation problem. They didn't embrace immigration. They just stagnated and have been continuing to stagnate since the late 80s. And they just kept it that way. So, yeah, so many different little wild cards there that we can, reasonable people can disagree on. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the chat. What are your opinions on this? I mean, Joseph and I are waxing poetic here, but I'd love to get your input on this. But make sure to tag Joseph or I so we actually see your comments, and we'll talk more about that when we get back from Midday.
Nice push up here for the NASDAQ. We know that frequent Fox business contributor Charles Gasparino posted on X that the White House officials are telling him they're expecting to announce a trade deal soon with Japan. Now we have Scott Bessent, who is the U.S. Treasury Secretary, adding that he's saying the Japan talks are, quote, moving in a highly satisfactory direction. So both Scott Bessent and Charles Gasparino here are saying that it looks like we're going to get a trade deal hopefully soon with Japan. Things are moving in the right direction there. Excuse me, back to you.
Donald saying that he's very confident they can get a deal done with China, very confident that he will have a deal with the European Union, reporting CNBC, so keep your eye out on that. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. Again, as Adair has mentioned multiple times, he is meeting with is it the Prime Minister or President of Italy? I don't remember which title it is, but meeting with Giorgia Meloni at the White House right now, and obviously trade will be on the discussion there, Katina Man. Yeah, one of your boys or one of your girls is at the White House right now. Katina Man obviously is Italian, so we're going to associate him with Giorgia Meloni. Yeah, shout out to BPI as well.
Shout out BPI. So yeah, Hal R says some interesting stuff too. Savvy Vet. The market is one of the most difficult to trade that I've seen in a very long time. Lots of whipsaw moves. Totally agree with you on that front there, Hal R. And I think a lot of people would agree on that front too. So you can even see it in the chat. So wow, Bitcoin really starting to move here, guys. I like that point. So Bitcoin starting to move, and Apple continuing to climb higher. Devin Haney, this one, which is unfortunate, but there we go. The thesis playing out. Oh, come on, don't hit me with that fail. But yeah, there we go. Nice look there. I told you guys just follow the volume. We talk about it all the time. You get that breakout volume, especially after a consolidation phase for this long, and then you see that volume by time signature right there really pick up on the 1 minute time frame, and there you go. You just look for the follow-up. You wait for the pullback, and one thing to note, you can see that when we pull back, look at the volume as well too there, guys. Really, really low volume on that front, on the pullback, and that's why we decided to go long. Shouldn't have took some off there too quickly. Should have been a little bit more patient, but that's okay. NVDA starting to climb higher. That's a positive note here for the market. But my guy, IBIT, really putting in a session here today, Shreve. I had a long bias on this name in the morning, but I was just too early to jump the gun. And I seen this signature right here, and I'm like, no way. I couldn't take any more swings at it just because of my rules, and I didn't want to breach them just because it's a long weekend. You don't want to get too gung-ho, I feel like. So we'll take an L on that one, but a really nice trade as we continue to climb higher in IBIT, now breaching through some of these pre-market highs there, Shreve.
All right, Joseph. Great comment here from Terra Engineering. Let me bring it in the middle.
Where is it at?
In 1970, in China, there were 12 workers for every retiree. In 15 years, there will be 3 workers for every retiree. Retirement age in China is exceptionally low. Look, I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm going to take it at face value and say that you are accurate. What does that say to you, though? What does that say to you? Is that a sustainable model? Like, are those retirees not going to eventually retire? You know, I hate to put it so crudely, but are they not going to eventually die? Right? Where does the population growth come in from if they don't have, you know, some sort of policy change? Now, we know that they had that one-child policy or whatever. I don't even think that's in play anymore. I think it's just kind of like the same situation when a country industrializes and becomes a modern industrial economy. People don't really want to have children as much. It sounds crude and not cool, but that's just the way it is. I mean, that's what the facts have been. So we'll keep tabs on that. All right, Fat N is really going here, guys. It's really starting to break out now. It's about 40% in the clear. I traded this one really poorly today. It just took out the high of the day at 12.50. Now it's 12.77 HOD. A lot of strength for Fat Pipe today to the high side again. 12.77 HOD. It's got a lot of strength and sales under its win now. So we're going to have to weasel into this somehow, some way. Just not exactly sure I want to punch in at the highs, given that it's a prohibitive spread. Here comes 13. Lucky number 13 in play. 12.94 now HOD on Fat N. Can we clear 13? If we can't, where am I picking it up off? Is it a 12.50 dip trade or a 12 dip trade? I'm seeing 2 different levels. The topping tail candle at around 11.30 rejected at 12.50. But the 10 exponential moving average and some of the price action resistance that we had was at 12. There goes 13, bro. Just punch in and shut up. Yeah, I mean, straight up, dude. If I had punched in, I'd be like 40 pennies in the money. Fat N is really going here, guys. Good strength on this one. 45% in the clear. Absolutely rocketing to the upside, but a very wide spread makes it really hard to manage risks on at least the down pulls. We're going to give this one the old community college try and see what happens, Joseph.
All right. So yeah, I mean,
wow, that kind of day today.
Yeah, it's all right, man. It's,
that kind of day.
It is. It happens. So let's see what's going on with Bitcoin. I think this is one of the better trades here on the session. Moving really, really nice, and that bottoming signal was absolutely A++. Unfortunately, we didn't take another stab at that one. Should have went a little bit more cool. I told you guys before, so you can see we hopped in add, looking for the break of the VWAP and then break of the pre-market levels there, and then it didn't work out. We get stopped out at the break of the support level. Hop back in, doesn't work. Hop back in, doesn't work, and then eventually it does turn around. But that's okay. We got some nice trades here on the TQs. So that was a nice one here. You can see that we took a nice trade all the way up there, added to the position, took some outbreak even, and then that's where we added, and then that's when we got that really, really nice move. But continuing to the top side, as you can see, we're holding some bases. What else did I trade on the day? I think that was it. Oh, and Apple. Yeah, so Apple was our nice little pop up there on volume. We were just following the volume, but we didn't get the continuation that we were looking for. Quite a choppy mess, but that's okay. I'm seeing something really, really key here on NVDA if we decide that we want to head a little bit lower. Look at this print here just below the volume weighted average price. That could lead us lower. If we crack it to the top side, then so be it, but a good short signal possibly here on NVDA. Risk profile is already defined. If it cracks it to the top side, then just get out of the trade. Wait for more indecision above VWAP, and then maybe you can get that move back towards the lower day here, Sharif. But I mentioned that we do have a high level of open interest at 100, so that could be the max pain low here on today's expiration cycle.
All right, we're going to cover the last remaining amount here we have on SXTC at 86. Is not really much of a trade, but it's not really moving up with any aggression, so we'll let that one go. ADGM, I don't feel too bad about this one because now this one did break that $2 area, whereas before it wasn't. So that's the situation. We'll keep an eye out on that. Looking for FATN to take out some levels over here. We've got 66s. It's showing me 60s, but it's not popping up with any aggression. I'm looking for a general hold up up at the $0.50, Joseph. This one does have a 13.21 high a day, but it is not popping up with the exact same kind of oomph that it had under its sales earlier. I'm talking about FATN as it continues to zig and zag near that level. The other trade that I've got on right now is GCI. I've got it at 67s. We're showing 65, so it's not exactly popping up, but it's not dropping below the 10 exponential either. It's been holding the 10 exponential now for about a 4-candle setup, so let's keep an eye out on that one as I watch FATN either stop me out or take out some of the highs there. Got a nice position on this one as well. I'm also seeing Hertz, HTZ, about to take out that $0.50. So that one we were talking about earlier, but I didn't want to get involved on this one until it took out $9. And the reason I didn't is because it ran into $9 in the aftermarket, which I kind of take as very similar to the pre-market high in the sense that it could have bag holders at that level. So I'd like for it to clear 9 before I do get involved with that. I'm talking about HTZ at that $9 level, Joe. I just have to manage this position here on FATN.
Yeah, absolutely. So LB, excuse me, you're asking me to take a look at the volume, sorry. Excuse me, just drink some water. Again, there's nothing that stands out, right? Like other than you have this, but you can see the selling pressure and look at the volume. Look at the volume by time profile, right? So as you continue to move to the southeast, that volume really sticks. And then look at the pullbacks as well too. I think this is really important to note. If you're following a primary trend and you want to get involved, kind of like how I did with just that Apple trade, you can see the strength to the downside. You can see the health within the bearish prints, and then look at the indecision within the pullback, right? And then you can see the volume as well too within the pullback. So keep an eye out on that. If you're looking for the continuation and feel that you've missed the move, wait for it. Look at the volume by time profile, and that might be able to give you an entry. It takes some time, a lot of seed time. There's no doubt about that. But once you continuously monitor it, go back in past charts and look at those levels and look how the price prints and how it's correlated with the volume, then you'll be off to a good start here. So you can see that we have this indecision. I'm going to look to take a short here, possibly on NVDA as the market is continuing to bleed. So that could be a good entry. I do like this signal right here. Yeah, so that's it. What do you got going on there?
Yeah, 75 here is a level where there's a lot of selling on FATN. It's been unable to break above 75 pennies for a while. I'm watching it. It's continuing to trend at 75. I've got 60s, but I'm not taking anything out right now. I did wet the beak there at 80 super quick, so we did get a 20 penny winner, but the 75 penny level has been a bit of a tough level to clear. I don't mind averaging into this one into 12 now that I was able to de-risk a little bit at that 80 penny level. But yeah, FATN, lots of selling at the 12 and $3/4 level. Let's see if it continues to do that. There's a lot of resistance initially at that $12 area. We'll have to see if it comes back in and acts as support. GCI now, it looks like it's going to break down below the 10 exponential here. So this is the first time it's actually pulling back below the 10 exponential. I'm talking about GCI. It's been quite aggressive of a move on the day to the high side, 379 HOD. This is the first time it's even touching that 10 exponential. So we'll have to keep tabs on that, whether it breaks down or not. SXTC continues to bleed to the downside over here. So let's see if we can get a little bit more on this one and then weasel in to another little short there on the downside. We got 180s, and then we'll take out some over here to the downside in the 70s. So lots of weakness now coming into SXTC, whether it becomes parabolic to the downside in the same way that it was parabolic to the upside. We'll have to wait and see. Got short again on this one. The Katina man was nice enough to get me shorts on that. Back to FATN. Now the seller is at 70. This is concerning, okay? Because the seller was at 75. Now it's holding up at 70. There is support for this one, though, at the $12 area vis-a-vis the 10 exponential. So that will be an interesting area for me as well if it is to continue to move down there. Back to SXTC as we look to wet the beak there at 77s. 1 penny spread on SXTC, which isn't too bad. We'll have to pack our patience and see if we can get something in and around there, Joe.
All right, good luck. So yeah, market's starting to pull back in here. You can see we formed somewhat of a shelf on Apple now, starting to fill it here, holding the support level and the breakout zone relatively well. Let's see if we can hold that support level. It's going to be key. So Marcus James, another big AI name that nobody has been mentioning is TEM. Kathy Wood bought big shares of it a while ago, and it has just continued to drag the bottom. Let's take a look at TEM. I like that. I wonder what my guy Rich Tech Robotics is up to. I haven't looked at that in a while. That might be a good play. But TEM, Tempest AI, again, sideways price action, but let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. Ooh, okay, so IPO over here, a nice move from 40 all the way up to 91, so a nice double up on that trade, but now heading back closer to where we just opened up from the IPO standpoint and heading back towards the sell side. I wouldn't be getting involved in this just right now because of the price action and what the overall market is. I would rather stick with some stronger names and something that has previous history. I don't know enough about this company to get involved, but I like the good look. I like that you're expanding your horizon, so thank you very much for that one, Marcus James Reed. Yeah, 75,000 at that $100 strike price for NVIDIA. Exactly, Los Pollos. Thank you. Actually, I love that you're looking at the chain too. So exactly what I'm looking at. That's a beautiful thing. I know a lot of traders are doing the same thing as well too, and have adapted that. So that makes me happy, and it helps a lot, right? It's like, why aren't we breaking these support levels? You don't have Bookmap, you don't have anything in depth, but if you have the ability to look at the options chain, then you can just pull it up and say, oh, okay, hey, that makes sense. We have this amount of liquidity standing at this point. Who's going to absorb that? Can they be absorbed in this amount of time frame? And right now, the answer is no, because like you said, Los Pollos, 74,000 at that 100 strike price, Sharif.
Absolutely, Joseph. Good call there. Continuing to watch FATN over here. We've got 55s on it. Now it's got 55s on the ask. Let's see if it can cross. It's been super spready, so it's been really hard to get the print. There we go. Now we get the print, 52s. Let's see if it can continue to move up here. Trying to really get, there we go. All right, now showing me 64s, but as it goes higher on the ask, the spread opens up. That's interesting there. So showing me 64s on the ask, and then on the bid, it'll drop down into the low 40s while it was in the 50s. So bit of a bamboozler there on FATN, but let's see if this one wants to pop back up. Here comes again, 64 is now 60 on the bid, 64 on the ask, still not getting the print. There it is, man. Holy, yeah, finally, bro. Jeez Louise. Okay, so we're doing well here on FAT, and finally we're nicely in the money on this one with a much larger position than I typically take. Here comes that 75 penny area, and now we're going to take some profits here as well, so we'll wet the beak there, and that'll change the cost basis every time we wet the beak because we have quite a large position from down in that 2 2/4. So let's see if we can take out that $13 level. We're zigging and zagging right now with 13, so we're going to take more up here. So there we go, top wick so far here on Fat Pipe as we look for that $13 area. Dara.
Sharif, I am seeing a headline circulate right now on X. Apparently the EU is weighing some export restrictions on the U.S. if their trade negotiations fail. It's funny we get this headline after we have comments from Donald Trump, who's currently speaking with the leader of Italy, Giorgia Meloni. He said that he actually is hoping they can get some kind of EU deal. But apparently, reportedly, if this does not work out, the EU is considering export restrictions on the U.S. should these trade negotiations not work out. Back to you.
Great reporting as always, Adara. Thank you for that. Looking to take more shares out here on Fat Pipe as it continues to trend up a little bit. We got 42s, just took out some there at 82s. Still ultimately looking for that break and take of 13. I'm kept quite optimistic by the higher low situation that we have here, knowing full well that 13 is unlucky. No, I'm kidding. 13 is a level of resistance. We've had 4 candles in a row on the 5-minute chart, all reject 13, with one candle wicking above 13, making that high day at 13.21. Again, though, what's really keeping me optimistic about FATN right now is the higher low situation on the candles on the 5. So that's my thinking right now on that one. Would love a break of 13 and to clear out some of those resting orders that I have there in front of 13 and at 13. What are you giggling about,
Marco Hernandez.
Marco Hernandez. Trump about to catch my hands. Marco's not happy right now.
Not happy, man.
He's not happy.
I feel you.
What happened, Marco?
One, man. What hasn't happened is
yeah, the long term is in good condition, Joseph.
You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. I was saying to you this morning, just I mean, there's not too much, man. I don't want to talk too much.
Why not, man?
I mean, he did. He just totally dumped on the whole market with these tariffs, which is totally.
Can I say something to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think? And I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying, what if? Do you think if we end up running like, and it ends up, this whole grand scheme of his has some sort of economic benefit.
Yeah.
Do you think that this little blip here that everybody's suffering through right now, and albeit everybody is suffering in the long term if you're long, do we even talk about it?
No, like all things, right? Like
forget about it.
Right? You forget about it. Like think about how hot of a topic COVID was, right? It was the be all to end all at one point. And then no one even really talks about it anymore, right?
No,
so
they don't.
It's just how it is. I'm back when I had Facebook. By the way, I deleted Facebook back in like 2016, 17.
Why'd you do that?
Because I was sick of social media at that time, man. I was in my mid-20s. I didn't need it. I mean, I was living in Liberty Village, having a good time. I didn't need the social media aspect. But again, I would go back and forth when everybody was doing that. But the internet moves on. Everybody moves on. One day things are hot and everybody's all worried, but then life just continues to move on, and eventually you forget about it. With the likes of COVID, the tariffs will be behind us one day. Right now it seems like it's everything, but come in the future, you're just going to forget about it. I'm like, oh, I remember those times and laugh about it. Everybody hated being locked up in the house during 2020, but now you sit back and you laugh about it and think about the good times.
Katina man preferred that, he said.
I had great times during COVID. I'm not going to lie. I had fantastic times during COVID. I remember my roommate at the time, and I told you, Shreve, we bought that spot and moved in like the day everything got locked down. He was pacing around the house. He's like, Joe, I can't take this anymore.
Right.
And then now we talk, he's like, dude, I miss those times. And I think that's, I don't know if you're going to necessarily miss what's happening here, but you'll reflect, you'll look back, and then eventually you'll laugh it off.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Let's see what people are saying here in the chat. I want to get some commentary. Marcus James Reed, a.k.a. Aspiring Pro. Sharif, we will never remember this slight blip. Frank S. Trump, he is saying that he is making $2 billion a day with tariffs. Jose, okay, that's more about your thing there. Brendan Franklin, no one is suffering if they are long-term portfolio holders. James Dell, the OG, short-term pain for long-term gain. Eric Burkhurst, it's a blip. Get ready for the market to rip this year. Andrew Bakes Cakes. The benefit, will be for him and his inner circle of Okay, all right, I see you there. Philly, Sanchez, Sharif. Well, if they all made a deal, we wouldn't have to worry about it. Good point. On the blockchain, Sharif, the ends justify the means. Kip, depends how long it goes on. We are talking weeks or years. Are we talking weeks or years, they say. Sorry, misread that. Who else? Thomas Bivens. Trump has the negotiation skills of Finding Nemo. Oh. Okay. Sadie. I know, that's very specific, says Adara. I happen to agree. Sadie B. Sharif. It isn't a blip for people who have realized losses. That's a good point. Now, look, I don't think you have to realize losses unless you're buying on margin. My understanding is, or at least what I've been doing on my portfolio, is I try not to buy too quickly on the dips. I try to look for key areas of technical support to buy at. But if you are forced to sell because you are buying on margin, it's an entirely different story. I'm not saying, Sadie, you're buying on margin. I have no idea what you're doing. But I'm saying that you're not really forced to sell unless your broker is liquidating it or you're getting that margin warning or whatever. Because nobody forces you to sell, unless you need the money, of course, and then that's a different story. And
hold on, Sharif, I got to say something here. Sean B, we give thanks to the Most High to get the opportunity to buy low. Shout out the Most High.
Appreciate that. Let's see what else people are saying. I really like to get some different opinions over here. Many years, says Tammy KB. Yeah, I mean, it may feel like that at the moment. And that's usually the case, though, when we're going through hard times. They don't feel like it goes fast, right? It feels like it kind of goes forever. We are going to win and win bigger than ever, says Morpheus Moonwalker. I happen to love your name, dude. That's a sick name there, man. All right, let's see what else people are saying. Did you already mention Arsenal win? Oh, they mentioned it immediately on the start of the show. Are you kidding me? Bellomati Navy. Shout out to you, my man. Thank you for mentioning it again, because it's been nice. DJ 2AM. Trump is considering Michael Burry to replace Jerome Powell as Fed chair. I don't know if that's true or not. Dara has not heard that. Donald, you got to...
Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more.
I can't, Joseph, I can't keep winning like this,
I
bro.
can't keep winning. It's hurting.
There's too much money everywhere here, Katina, man. You're going to have to pick up the money off the floor, bro.
Too much winning.
Pick up the money off the floor, Katina,
Can
man.
I say
Like,
something, though?
Yeah.
I personally hate losing more than I like winning, if that makes sense to you.
You hate losing?
more than I enjoy.
And we've talked
winning.
about this before.
Yeah, like
We've talked about this before.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Something it just like again. I'm playing beer league hockey these days. When I played competitive, it was the same thing, but it's translated into that like when we lose, when we shouldn't, it irks me more. I feel more pain than when than like euphoria when I win.
I respect that, bro. And can I say something to you?
Yeah.
I had this discussion with my old man. I said to him, the losses fester longer than the good feelings from the wins,
exactly.
right?
And that's why they say people are addicted to gambling, is because you get that more the dopamine when you lose more, right? Because you feel more when you lose opposed to when you're just winning. You're like, oh, that's it, I won. Okay.
No, I mean, it's all we've got. Yeah, no, look, I respect that. I think there is some psychological explanation for that, right? With respect to the losses festering longer than the wins, help you feel good. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows about that. Everybody's experiences a little differently, too.
Absolutely.
I got to tell you, early in my career, like, emotion was very evident in my trading. If I took losses, they would emotionally affect me for days. Now I'm good within like 10, 20 minutes, right? Like you have to be a short-term memory in terms of emotion, long-term memory in what you made the mistake on so it doesn't repeat.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
Wow,
right?
bang.
Thank you, there.
Good one there. So yeah, everybody's saying the same stuff. Casey Frank, same here. Winning is the baseline. Winning is the exception. A lot of people are saying Summer Sunrise says, I feel nothing. I wish you sent a little bit over that over here. A lot of people saying same. Trader for Life says losing makes me sick, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody feeling. Yeah, exactly. Sir Poopy Paper Hands, losing makes you feel alive. Exactly. That's exactly what it does. You feel alive. Maybe a little bit too much alive, but that's okay. Scott. Scott, welcome to Trader TV Live. Good seeing you in here, guys. I mean, look at this trade on Apple. Wow. Unfortunately, we didn't hold on to this one, Sharif, but a really nice
what the
look
hell
here
is Apple
on
doing?
AAPL. I mean, follow the volume on that breakout. You can see I was talking about that consolidation phase for quite some time, and then just as it broke out, I was saying to Sharif, oh, watch Apple here. We might get that breakout, and it broke out on volume. So I waited for the pullback, which kind of hindered my entry, and then that's why I wasn't able to kind of hold on. I took some off too soon. I should have sat through the grind, but I didn't, unfortunately, do that. So that's okay. There will always be another opportunity. Maybe NVDA wants to start to bounce, but I think that the sentiment around this name is too weak in order for that to look for that continued long. But what is strong here, Sharif, looking good for you, my guy, is IBIT. Bitcoin starting to climb higher. We might be tapping into closer to the north end of 84,000 on Bitcoin. Might even be north of that there, guys. So a good look here on BTC. Let's get that exact number before we send it back to my guy. We're trading at approximately 84,963.
Okay, here we go. We're still watching this bad boy develop. I'm talking about Fat N. I've got 42s. It's showing me 71s, but my beak wetters, my profit takers above 13 have still gone unfilled. I didn't add anything. This trade here, or sorry, this dip trade at 12.07 didn't go unfilled. It was defending 10s. I didn't have the compunction to move it up at the time. I should have been moving up that dip trade in order to get a fundamentally a better cost basis. I would have been in the 20s had that been filled, but alas, it did not fill. So we'll keep an eye out on that. This trade is no longer valid. We're breaking down, we're putting in lower lows and lower highs. I'll pick up GCI at 350. So I'll go ahead and wait at that 350 level. I think that is the better level for a long on this one. I'm still short, involved in the short on SXTC. It's still giving me the indicator to go short at the volume weighted average price. So I'll keep my eye out on that, and we'll see how all these positions are doing when we get back from Adair at the big desk.
Not much of a move, but worth noting, Nikkei reporting that apparently EHang is going to be launching its commercial air taxi service this year. So we know, Sharif, here, I know you follow the eVTOL landscape. EH apparently going to be launching their commercial air taxi service later in 2025, as reported by Nikkei. Back to you.
You know what time it is, my guy.
What is it? Yeah, I'm just.
Okay, do your thing, do your thing.
Go ahead, I'll just give you the numbers. Let me know.
Give me the numbers. Here,
5:30.25.
Okay, here. Okay. All right,
5:30.
You're not ready.
Yeah, I was ready because I got it on my side screen. That's why. 25.
25. Gotcha.
Yep.
We're going long, by the way.
Okay. So 5:32.25.
5:32.25.
And then we're stopping out 5:29.25.
5:29.25. Thank you for that. I'll pull that up here in 1 second. 29.25, and there we go. We're in right at 1 o'clock. We'll take a couple shares on it for you, for everybody. Just know that we ain't playing around here today, Sharif. And there we go. We're actually on a 3-day losing streak, Sharif. Are we?
Yeah, I got stopped out yesterday when it should have been a banger because the downturn came a little bit later.
Exactly. So there you go. Three losses in a row. I got to edit this here real quick for you guys. Oh, those are shares. Sorry, though. So I don't know why I put a minus there. But yeah, there we go. 3 L's in a row. That's okay. We'll get right back on track. That's why you run a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio there, guys.
All right, guys, keeping my eye out still on this bad boy here. I'm talking about Fat N continuing to zig and zag at 75s. I'm not moving any of my orders down. I really am waiting for this one to break 13. It is accumulating in a way that I've seen before. This is, in my opinion, a bull flag. The second of the bull flags on the day, the second very clear bull flag. There's your first one, the move up, the consolidation sideways, defends 11, moves up again, kind of doing the exact same thing. So I'm looking for that 13 break. Whether or not that 13 break ends up manifesting in yet another bull flag, that's a different story. We'll have to wait and see whether or not that ends up happening. But I like my chances here for a $13 break on FATN. SXTC starting to go over here. So this is interesting. This is catching a bid again, despite the fact that I'm short. So we're about 6 pennies out of the money on this one. Let's see what SXTC does. It's above VWAP. I don't like to trade these short above the volume weighted average price, but it's got a whole bunch of resistance over here in the mid-teens. So I'd like to take advantage of that if it allows me to. So that's exactly what I'm going to do there. We're going to wait in the low teens to get a little bit more on this one and to see if we can kind of tank this one back down. So that's my look right now on FATN and SXTC. One short, one long. I like Fat N likely to the high side a little bit better, but we're going to have to wait for that to happen. Adara's got breaking news.
Keep an eye here on MP. This is MP Materials. It was one of these material stocks moving along earlier this week. Now, this came out, I guess, about probably 10 minutes ago now on Benzinga, circulating now on social media. The company announced that they're accelerating their strategy to, quote, reindustrialize the rare earth supply chain. They also said they're going to be stopping their rare earth shipments to China due to the tariff concern. So MP making this announcement, pushing to the downside after the fact. Also, right around now, we are supposed to have this bilateral meeting take place between Donald Trump and Giorgia Meloni of Italy. I have one Trump stream in my ear. If there's another one starting, I will, of course, switch to that one. But as we know, oftentimes, Donald Trump is a bit later than we're expecting him to be. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Let's see if he's too late to this meeting as well. Back to you.
Yeah, because it was funny because when he called him Mr. Too Late, I was like, yeah, because I was telling Adara this morning about the new nickname that Donald's got for Jerome, right? And she's like, he's calling him late? He's the one that's late all the time. She would know, right? Because she's waiting for the dude to drop hot lines, and he comes out late. So, come on, Donald.
Come on, Donald.
Show up, bro.
Show up, bro.
No.
Well, I mean, come on, man. I mean, the guy was 2 a.m. He's like, it's 2 a.m. We're taking notes. Biden wouldn't do that. Biden wouldn't be here.
Your boy Joe Biden was on the Rampage yesterday. Oh, he's your friend, bro. Well, I heard you guys, you guys go way back. That's what I hear.
We're both sleepy, I guess.
This guy's like, what are you talking about, bro? I don't know the man.
Yeah.
No, man, we're kidding around
here. We have the same interest in ice cream, though, apparently.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So
tell him what you really feel, Joseph.
I feel the ice cream.
All right, guys, we're just having some fun over here. Obviously,
Friday.
Hey, it is. It's Thursday. Yeah. But today's obviously this week, I should say, is shortened week. Right? So tell him what you're doing.
Yeah, okay, so one of my good friends is getting married this weekend, guys, so I'm going to be flying out to Dallas, Texas. My first time going to Texas, so everything is apparently bigger and better, so we're going to find out real quick. And I will give you guys maybe I'll make a video and give you an honest review on some Texas barbecue.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You're going to hit up a saloon? I know it's like so cliche Texas, but it's like probably got more Walmarts and Costco's than they got saloons.
I'll go to a saloon. I have see, the thing is, I'm not there long enough. I have good friends in Austin.
My bad.
And I wanted to go to Austin, but I just don't have the time.
That's okay.
Yeah, so
Austin's live. Everybody's talking about Austin these days. A lot of California people
go to Austin.
And
yeah,
they leave.
I'm kind of trying to think of an area that is kind of like hip, kind of.
Well, that's what it is, right?
Youthful and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah.
Guys, MSGM.
Dallas sucks, says Bill Smith.
What? Oh, he probably doesn't like the Cowboys or maybe some other team that's there. MSGM just rocketed up, guys. Don't know what's going on, but this one caught an aggressive bid at 105. That candle at 105, a 5-minute candle, that is. The high of the day is $2. It's still below that $2 high a day, so be careful with this one. But what a move up here by MSGM. This one did break below the volume-weighted average price, so I had to get out of that one. But it is trying to reclaim that level at the moment, so let's keep an eye out on that. Fat M, though, so we had multiple outs on this one. Still have that $12 defend that I wouldn't mind getting. It still hasn't filled. Now it's dropping down to 34s. We're long 42, so a little bit out of the money on this one. But Fat N zigging and zagging over here at the 10 exponential. Still interested in picking up more at 12. We'll have to see how this cookie crumbles. But this short here, I'm still waiting at getting more on the short here on SXTC, looking for the topping tail candles that were forming in or around the low teens, mid-teens to kind of hold up as resistance. We'll have to see if that prints or not. Adair.
SGM for you. This is Motorsport Games. Let me check here. We've got a 550. Oh, that's AXP. Let's check MSGM. We've got a 1.6 million share float, so pretty small float here. Their most recent catalyst was on Tuesday, but there is some social media attention on this name. There's not a lot. The last tweet we got here came 13 minutes ago, but it's just a lot of people posting the exact same tweet. MSGM, $2 break coming. So lots of social media participants really wanting this $2 break on MSGM. Back to you.
It's MSGM, topping tail right now, Adair, right in. Right into that $1.94. I want to say $1.95. Quick as you like, though, right back into that $1.80. It's still having trouble with that $2 area. That is technically the high day. Sorry, I don't have the ticker on there. Allow me a second to throw MSGM on there. MSGM. There we go. It was a very, very respectful trend. So maybe the right move here was to look to the 20 because it does seem to find support at the 20. It found it over here at 11.10, 11.15, and then all over here where it consolidated from 12.35 all the way up to 1. It did find support at the 20. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. If this one takes out $2, I'm really interested in picking it up, but it's going to have to break that $2 area again. Farm Trader says Hertz is going for 9. I do see it. So I do see HTZ. It's been quite respectful of these moving averages on the way up. I still think that I'm going to wait for 9, though, for HTZ to take something on this trade, even though there was clearly something to be had prior to that. But, you have rules that you have to follow, so that's what I'm going to do. $9 is where I'm looking for a possible long trade on HTZ. I'd like to take out some of the possible short sellers that were holding this, or bag holders, I should say, not short sellers, bag holders that were holding this at $9 from the aftermarket yesterday. So that's what I'm looking at there. Continuing to watch Fat N over here. It's showing me 12.50. We're long 42s, so we'll have to see how this cookie crumbles, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you for that. Normal special. If I had a chance to travel, where would I go? I mean, I'm traveling today, obviously, but I like that question. It would be Asia. I really want to see Southern Asia.
Same.
That's just like one place that I most definitely go. I like how tropical it is and everything along those lines. So Asia is definitely at the top of the list. And I've yet to cross the pond as well, too, as we would like to say over here. But yeah, guys, I missed this entry here on Bitcoin. We had a 5-minute pullback that I had that feeling I should have got in. But the volume by time profile kind of swayed me, but that's okay. We're starting to climb higher and head towards that the high day. So there we go. Really good look. Bitcoin is strong, and I mentioned it. I'll pull it up here from a daily standpoint. just how we're sitting on the backside of this trend, which can be a positive note, and maybe we really start to get moving here. So you can see that continuous move. Now we're sitting on the opposite side of it there, and then we can continue to climb higher and higher and higher. That's kind of the game plan and the thesis that I've established. Unfortunately, in my swing account, I'm sitting in some NVDA and some IBIT, and I might have grabbed some too much too quick, which is okay. But again, we'll be patient. Maybe we'll add some more, especially once we break this 88,000 and head towards this support level, which can now act as resistance, and maybe we take some off because it is only a swing. I'll definitely add in the long term when we break the all-time highs. That will tell me that we're going to head into price discovery and we're ready to possibly climb higher. And that's my game plan, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
I'm positioned really, really well. I told you I've been buying IBIT since the IPO. And then now when we break this all-time high, or if the price action tells me we get a positive catalyst, that's when I'll start adding into the long term and maybe possibly the swing account.
All right, we're taking profits here on SXTC as it comes back down into the volume weighted average price. I'm looking for a drop below VWAP for the next peak weather there. I'm waiting at 96s. It's showing me 02s. We've got 10s short right now. So this one, let's see if it bounces off VWAP here. If it bounces off VWAP and makes a new 5-minute candle, make a new high, that's where I'm ending the trade. I'm going short on this one, so I'm not looking for any strength to come in at the volume weighted average price. That would be counter to my trade. So we'll see exactly what we get there. Let's set up a couple of beak wetters as well, just a skosh below that $2 area so we can get some fills that on there if it does pop back up. But in this day's segment of what did Zuck say in testimony? Let's talk about this.
I like this news.
Yeah, because we're going to have a wild trial now, okay? I didn't mean for that to rhyme. But the trial is slated to go to July, if you, according to some analysts there. So let's talk about what happened yesterday, because a lot of new information came out. So apparently, right before the trial, your friend Zuck wanted to get out of the situation. So he offered the FTC 450 million big ones to get out of the antitrust lawsuit. The FTC responded by saying, I don't know about that 450. We want 30 billion big ones and a consent decree. Meta responded back with their increasing their offer to $1 billion, but also it was rejected. Apparently, the new chair, Andrew Ferguson, was willing to go as low as 18 billion, so almost half of what he was asking for initially of that 30 billion to let Zuck off the hook. Zuck apparently leaned into his ties with the Orange Man, hoping for support. He apparently, we all know, he donated $1 million to the inaugural fund. He met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. He attended meeting with Trump officials at the White House in February and March, according to sources, to kind of have this whole thing. And he apparently, Zuck that is, told the FTC in March that Trump would back the deal. Now, here's what the FTC responded by saying, oh, thank you for that. So FTC Chair Andrew Ferguson refused, as I mentioned, to settle for anything less than $18 billion. But apparently, a deal was considered. But Ferguson, the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi, and White House officials ultimately convinced Trump to allow the FTC lawsuit to proceed. And former chair, the wrath of Lena Khan, criticized Meta's offer, calling it delusional. She said Mark bought his way out of competing, so I'm not surprised that he thinks he can buy his way out of law enforcement too. So interesting, more information coming out of the latest saga of the FTC versus Zuckerberg. Did not know that he had tried to, I guess I'm not really surprised by that. He had tried to obviously get off the hook, get this done. And what I really want to stress is the Katina man was just, he was kind of saying, you know, Google, just pay the fine already and get it over with. Sometimes, though, the fine is prohibitive. And so ends up happening is that you're offered something as big as $18 billion, which you can't stomach. So that's the situation there on the latest version of what did Zuck do to try to get out of the FTC lawsuit?
The new hottest segment right there. What did Zuck do? We gotta get out of it. What did Zuck do? Man, now he's tuning in with the UFC
Oh, baby.
Yeah, he's in with the UFC there. I mean, good look there. And a lot of people are chiming in on the chat. It's like, where does the money go at the end of the day, Sharif? I said, where do you think it goes?
Where do you think it goes? Yeah.
Exactly. Where do you honestly think it goes? Putting it in the pockets of certain individuals. Dude, he started Facebook in his dorm room. Let's
He
see
did.
what
That's the truth.
What is everybody else saying here?
People don't like him, but he is a successful guy and he's self-made. Like, has he made mistakes? Maybe has he skirted the law a couple of times? Like, he tries to put everything to his own benefit. I mean, can we really fault the man for being self-interested?
No.
No. And that's why the checks and balances are there, right?
What major success story like that has been completely smooth sailing?
I don't think any. I don't know of any. Yeah.
You're gonna have your ruts along the way. There's gonna be some things that are kind of teeter-tottering on the line. But again, there you go. He's servicing America. I personally like Zuck. I like the glow-up Zuck as well too. I'm not the biggest fan of Instagram, but.
Yeah, I know you're on that all the time.
Yeah, I'm on it all the time. So, but I mean, yeah, he started from his dorm room. It's a total success.
It's the truth, man. Yeah. It's the truth. I mean, again, remember that, what's it called? The Social Networking?
I never watched
movie?
that movie.
I did. It was one of the movies that I did watch.
Yeah.
They don't portray him in such a great light in that movie,
I don't
obviously.
like that.
But
to be honest with you, I don't like that actor too much. That's why I don't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't like his face.
Forget his name.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't care. It doesn't hurt me.
So I'm not gonna watch
Damn, you guys were paid by Zuck, says Brandon. We really weren't, brother. I mean, like, the fact of the matter is, he just happens to be a successful guy, and I don't know why society these days likes to crap all over successful people as if they're, I personally don't see it that way. I like to champion that kind of thinking, that kind of mentality, that kind of, as Joseph would call it, glow up, right? We're not paid by Zuck. Come on now.
If we were, that would be nice. I wouldn't say no.
All right. You're not helping our cause here, Joseph.
But I wouldn't.
No, seriously, though. That's the situation. Again, what we're talking about, guys, is the trial that's currently happening right now between the Federal Trade Commission and Meta. The Federal Trade Commission is alleging, guys, that they bought their way. They're bought their way out of competition by buying Instagram, by buying WhatsApp, and they're alleging that that kind of behavior is anti-competitive, and as a result, they're looking for Meta to divest Instagram, they're looking for Meta to divest WhatsApp, and pay a large fine as well with a consent order. So, yeah. Natalia M, they are jealous. Hertz Scrambler, they are jealous. Look, I don't know what their motivation is. A lot of people lately in society, I feel like there has been this push, anti-billionaire push, I don't want to say wealthy people, because I don't think that that's really what it is. But there has been that kind of sentiment lately, and I don't espouse it. I understand why some people do think that way, because rough times for a lot of people right now, man. And so they don't really like to see these guys buying two boats with a support boat for their yacht. It must bug some people, bro. I don't live that lifestyle, Joseph, but it doesn't bug me.
It doesn't bug you?
No. It doesn't.
I mean, do you wish you were? Obviously, you wish.
I aspire.
I
aspire, but I don't hate it. Just because I can't reach it, it's just not my thinking, dude. And everybody's different.
That's why everybody was kind of pooping on the all-female Blue Origin.
They were so hell-bent. They were furious. Why are they going up there? Shut up.
Like, who cares?
Yeah, just leave them alone, man. They're having a good time. They're flying in space. And bro, I'll take that any day. Any day of the week. Put me on Blue Origin, man.
Blue Origin.
Or any day. eVTOLs, Blue Origin, Joseph, I want it all.
Would you take that one-way ticket to Mars?
Okay, we have to discuss this a little bit, because you can't just say it like that. I'm getting stopped out of another position.
Just like that.
No. It's not like that. If you were to, so the plan to Mars here is to send unmanned missions to put resources there for people ahead of sending people, so that when you get there, there's water, there's food, there's all this stuff that can help you out. So if there's stuff waiting for me, and it's arrived there in one piece, I'll go. I swear I would go.
But you know you can't. There's no flight back.
No, I want to come back.
Okay, but
why would I die there? Oh, so I'm supposed to colonize Mars? That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to colonize it. If they train me, I'll go.
Okay.
I would. I really would, dude. Like, I mean, how many people in the history of the world could say that they went to Mars? So I'm good with it, right? I'm one of the first people. I'd do it. If it's got to happen, it's got to happen, Katina, man. Like, I mean, like, look, bro, it's what I like. It's what you like or what you don't like. And I don't mind going to space, baby. I live in the stars.
I'm terrified of heights.
My mind is in the stars. No, I'm playing. Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Profit X. In sports playing, flexibility is everything. Excuse me. At Profit X, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange. Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why would you settle for a single offered price when you can just set your own? Plus, our mobile interface makes it easy to play on the go. Profit X, where you call the shots anytime, anywhere. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back, up to $300. Back to the Bash Brothers.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, and on this latest episode of, yes, us colonizing Mars, the Katina man's like, bro, I don't even like heights. Don't send me to Mars, right? Like, I get
on
that.
Mars. It's just
I get that.
Getting to space would be my issue, right? Once we get to that, past that part, I'd probably be all right, you know what I mean? But then landing back into Mars, once you get into the atmosphere, that landing would be probably pretty scary.
I mean, look, bro, you're not going to feel a whole lot if it doesn't end well.
If it doesn't, it's going to be quick,
Call
right?
a spade a spade, brother. There's not going to be a whole lot of suffering on there. It's just going to be...
Yeah, that's it. Done.
It's over. All right, let's talk about some more headlines today because there's more to talk about. So allow me just a moment over here to load up my notes from the morning. So let's talk about some of these headlines. So we already gave you the latest dish of Meta. United Health as well. We all saw that big boy drop on UNH as a reason for that. Profit forecast. Heavily revised. They were guiding earnings per share, full year earnings per share of $29.50 to $30. They revised that down substantially, down to $26 to $26.50 as a result of higher medical care costs and more demand. They're blaming the baby boomers. They're blaming the seniors, saying on Medicare Advantage plans are driving cost overruns. They're also saying that the cost for 2025 are already above what they planned for the increases. So they knew there were going to be increases because of, the aging population and some inflation that continues to subsist in the healthcare. But the actual costs are going to be even higher. So the CEO, Andrew Whitty, saying the company didn't meet the internal expectations. And so what he's saying is there's going to be cost cutting and there's going to be restructuring. And essentially, that's a euphemism for layoffs. OK, so I would not be surprised, sadly, to hear in the not too distant future that UNH is laying off some people. So that's one of the major headlines today. Also, our friend Jensen has weaseled his way over to China. All right. And the reason he's over there is because on April 9th, the Trump administration blindsided him, according to him, with this H20 ban. What is this H20? It is a China-specific AI GPU, which the Biden administration kind of gave him guidelines, Jensen that is, on what he can and what he can't export to China. Well, we're in a new administration now, so expect new guidelines, and that's exactly what happened. So on April 9th, as I mentioned, you have to have a license now to export the H20 out, which essentially puts the kibosh on the exports because you're not going to get that license. What do you got up there, Adara? Which one is that? Is that a Bang or is that a Rockstar? Okay. In response to a House Select Committee probe, NVIDIA said, we follow the government's directions to the letter. He said we add American jobs, we add billions in tax revenue. And he also highlighted another point that you and I talk about. He said the Singapore-listed sales, Joseph, are not all China-bound. And he actually said that a lot of American companies have it sent to Singapore for whatever reason, often billed as U.S. subsidiaries that actually open up in Singapore, maybe for tax purposes, I'm assuming, with shipments headed out of Singapore to the U.S. or Taiwan. Whether that's true or not, You have to do your own homework, but that's what he's saying. Obviously, NVIDIA shares dropped aggressively today. They're well off their lows. They were down 7% on Wednesday, actually, with the House committee. And there's also going to be an investigation. I totally forgot about this. Apparently, there's going to be a House committee investigation into the loophole, again, the Singapore loophole that we've already talked about, suggesting NVIDIA may have exploited gain or gaps, in prior regulations. So apparently, there is going to be a U.S. Select House Committee investigating that. We'll have to wait on that. Also, Eli Lilly, a big kind of breakthrough today. We've been talking about these GLP-1s, which are weight loss drugs, moving from the injectable form into the oral form. And apparently, they made big boy strides with respect to that. I'm not going to try to pronounce this one. I had a ill-fated attempt at pronouncing it today with Brendo, but make a long story short, it was successful. Patients lost on average about 7.9% of their body weight, about 16 pounds, and there was no plateau observed, believe it or not, meaning that you can continue to stay on it and continue to lose more weight. So that is a look there, and there's lots of side effects: vomiting, nausea, and diarrhea, guys. All right, so there's a look there. KeyBank downgrade Microsoft. Don't really care about that. Taiwan Semi reported earnings overnight, and this was a monster beat, guys. Monster beat. Revenue grew 41.5% year over year. Profit grew 60.3% year over year. This company is a dynamo, man. Taiwan Semi is what I'm talking about. They make obviously the most advanced chips in the world, that 2 nanometer technology right now. They also make AI and 5G chips, yada, yada, yada. You get it. Now, there are some headwinds. The Trump tariffs, right away, they're going to get slapped with a 10% tariff at minimum for everything coming out of Taiwan. But that could pop up to 32% because that was a tariff rate Trump imposed on Taiwan before, of course, he had that 90-day pause, that 90-day suspension. So possibly could see a tariff rate up to 32%, but currently it's a 10% levy so far. They're also trying to please the Orange Man, and what they're doing is they're looking to invest in foundries in the United States. $165 billion is what they've earmarked. They've already committed $100 billion, right? Or sorry, they've already committed $65 billion for the 3 fabs, fabs under construction in the U.S., and they've committed $100 billion more, obviously trying to get on Donald Trump's good side. Also, part of this story was there was possible rumors about Taiwan Semi and Intel engaging in a joint venture, and the CEO, C.C. Wei, made it very clear on the earnings call that wasn't true. So he publicly denied any ongoing discussions with Intel about a joint venture, any technology licensing, any collaboration during that Q1 earnings call. The denial refutes an April 3rd story by The Information claiming that Taiwan Semi and Intel were in preliminary talks for a joint venture where Taiwan Semi would own about 21% of Intel's fabs. Okay, so TSM statement comes as the Trump administration, of course, escalates pressure to reshore. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how this all pans out. But it's not the first time we've heard the story, and it's not the only company that's been linked, with Intel. I believe Qualcomm. Neil, who else? Qualcomm as well as who else? Just Qualcomm. Okay. Has been linked with Taiwan Semi. So that's a look there. Obviously, another very big story was your friend, Joseph, Bill Ackman, taking a big boy position in Hertz. So, and this is a really interesting story here because initially he had a 4.1% stake, Joseph, and that now is up to 19.8, essentially 20%. But the way he got that is the bamboozler, Joseph. He used an SEC exemption to hide or delay the disclosure of the purchase, and that's actually allowed. Wow. Yeah. Allowing him to build up his position quietly so that you wouldn't punch in and get rich. Only he can get rich, Joseph. You can stand on the sideline over there with us, right? He's going to get rich. So Hertz obviously surged 56% yesterday once that news was broken. Just to give you an idea here about how Hertz has done in their earnings, they reported a $2.9 billion loss last year. A $245 million hit as well in Q4. Because of the devaluation of the Teslas that they bought, Joseph. They bought hand over fist EVs, thinking that people would be interested in renting those bad boys, and they ended up selling a lot of them at a significant loss. So looks like Ackman's trying to pick them up while they're down, possibly. We'll have to wait and see what plan he has for that. American Express reported as well, and they continue to do well. American Express is ridiculous of a company. Goldman also. This, I didn't get to talk about the story in the morning, because we skipped over China. This is a really interesting story here. So Goldman Sachs is warning of a possible U.S.-China financial decoupling. Listen to this. So they're estimating that U.S. investors may have to divest up to $800 billion in Chinese equities in what they call a worst-case scenario financial decoupling. This warning follows escalating, obviously, trade tensions and regulatory friction between the U.S. and China. But here's what they're saying. U.S. institutions actually hold about 7% of the market cap of these Chinese ADRs, the American Depository Receipts. So the concerns here around the potential delisting, we've heard this been floating around now, the potential delisting of these major Chinese companies from the U.S. exchanges like your Alibabas, your JDs, your Neos, your XBEVs, etc. And if that ends up happening, you're going to have to divest $800 billion is going to come out of there. So we'll have to wait and see there. It looks like it's a tit-for-tat exchange with China saying, we may or may not respect your intellectual property rights, the U.S. countering back, obviously, with higher tariffs, and now the possible delisting of that. So Goldman drawing up what they call a worst-case scenario where we would see about $800 billion coming to the public market shows.
That would be detrimental to the Chinese market and make it even more uninvestable at times than what it currently, is right now or has been in the past. It doesn't seem so bad now, but that would be not a good look for the Chinese equity market. So yeah, good look there. Great reporting as always, Sharif. But let's see what we got going on in this market. Pizza Rat continuing to climb higher here, guys. Our Pizza Rat climbing. IBIT is climbing higher here. Really, really good look. One of the stronger names on the session. We're up just about under 1% here. 9/10 to be kind of roughly exact, 9.4. So really, really nice trading on IBIT. I wish I could caught this long. I just wasn't paying attention to it at this point. But then, yeah, we got that nice move. But that's some shoulda, coulda, woulda. TQs worked out pretty well for us here on the day. I think that was some of our better trading. I mentioned that we are in some NVDA and Apple as well too. So let's pull up the TQs to see what we got going on. And yeah, so some nice work here done, nice add, and just a continuous grind to the top side. You can see that we're holding this trend line here. So until that snaps, maybe we just grind. It is the day before we head into a long weekend, so volume might start to step off. But who knows? Maybe we get that 2 o'clock rally as well. So a lot to look forward to, but just also be patient. Don't try to force anything along those lines. Yeah, Pizza Rat. I didn't mean that obviously, but to short it up here, I don't know, man. It's such a strong underlying right now. Don't want to fight that trend. So be wary of that. And yeah, Nugent, I don't know what that means. Those ADRs are down, hella though. So hedgies are going to be forced to realize those losses. Are they going to be forced to realize those losses? Yeah, I think at some point, if that were to be the case, their day trader cut hedgies. I like that new term. We'll pull up Baba to see what we got going on. And I mean, if you look at it at this name from a daily standpoint, you can see where we had those stimulus rumors, and then we just end up fading. So somewhere with stimulus, yeah, I think this was the first round of stimulus right here, and then you get the pop, and pretty much gives back the majority of that move, and then you get that second round of going right now, and that was more sustained as you crack through some key levels, and then head back into about $150. But now giving back a lot of this here, guys. So that's not a good look. From that peak where we're currently trading at is about 25%. So yeah, just following the overall market. So yeah, tough look here in these Chinese ADRs. And I mean, ask yourself this: do you want to be invested in this name for the long run? I know Sean and Neil talk about INTC, and it's like, okay, yeah, 27 years, 28 years now, it's essentially been dead money at the same price that it was that long ago, which I find slightly comical. But I mean, why would you want to be involved in that? Find things that are going to continue to grow and things that have established themselves. And I just don't know if this is a good long-term investment. And that's what a lot of people are here for, is just to make that long-term money. And I don't think that answers here in BABA and some of these Chinese ADRs. But let's take a look at INTC, because that made me chuckle, and I want to see what that's like. Hopefully I don't ever have to go through anything like that, but you never know. Something may come into along those lines where you just sit in a stock for that amount of years. I don't know if you would sit in it for that long, and to the point where you're just like, hey, see you later. I know someone in the chat asked me, like, hey, Joe, why did you get out of Apple and Tesla? Well, I think that there's a better opportunity to come, especially with Tesla. Or I'm not saying that the price is going to decrease, but I do believe that Tesla, there's going to be a right time, right? As soon as, I like how Strafe was using it as his #1 pick. It's like you got the robotics coming out, FSD, which I think is going to be an absolute game changer. And this is my example, right? Kind of just how we kind of evolved over time. When I was a kid, everybody had that scooter, right? Everybody had a scooter, and you had to use your own feet. Now, today, I don't see any kids with those scooters. They're all electric, and I think that's going to come along the lines of maybe not be the best analogy. Why are you going to give me the fail on that? I know that was you. You don't like electric scooters? Why, Ramin? They're quick. But anyways, I don't think anybody's going to be driving. I don't think anybody's going to be driving eventually at the end of the day. They're just going to hop in their car and it's going to work out for them.
Tell them, Joe.
Yeah, and I think that's how it's going to work.
Adair's got breaking news.
Yeah, but we're going to go to Adair. That's my opinion on that.
We're going to talk here about Apple, AAPL getting a little bit of a bounce here. Washington Post reporting that the Apple CEO, of course, who is Tim Cook, had private conversations with senior members of the Trump administration. Apparently, this had to do with the iPhone price hikes following tariffs that were levied against China from the U.S. We know the iPhones or Apple's iPhones really stand to have some pretty significant price increases. We've heard reports that the company is shipping these iPhones left and right from India so that they can try to get these to the U.S. as quickly as possible to avoid some of the impact of these tariffs. But yeah, AAPL on watch getting a little bit of a bump, apparently trying to talk to senior members of the Trump administration with regards to their concerns about tariff impacts. Back to you.
That's fair. Pedal bikes. Yeah, I can get behind the pedal bikes there, Ermil. I agree with you on that.
I got to tell these guys about the best platform around here.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I didn't get that one in the old...
New traders, listen up. First month, it's free, Joseph. That's right. We're waiving the fees because they're going to trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite experience where they'll be able to analyze, strategize, and then hopefully after all that, they'll capitalize on their platform that has everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. And you also predict a lot better with that backtesting option. Reliable, real-time data, global markets, guys, literally at your fingertips, all in one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, you will. Scan that QR code or click the link in said description. Shout out to the great folks at eSignal. We will be going back to Adara momentarily. Go ahead.
Keep an eye here on Palantir, any of these defense plays. Why is that? Well, in case you missed it, this morning we had reports that SpaceX was going to be really heavily involved in Donald Trump's planned Golden Dome project for defense. Now Elon Musk said, it's kind of a confusing series of comments here, but basically he said that if Trump asks them SpaceX, to help with the Golden Dome, then they will, but that SpaceX has not made any attempt to bid for a contract in the Golden Dome, and he actually wants other companies to help. So Elon Musk saying, sure, if Donald Trump calls me, we'll get SpaceX involved, but we don't really want to be involved on our own. Keep an eye on PLTR, which was another name really heavily mentioned with regards to this Golden Dome project, and Darrell as well, which of course works with Palantir, not publicly traded, but keep an eye on any other defense names like Boeing, for example, or LMT. PLTR, though, probably the closest name to watch with regards to this story. Again, Elon Musk denying reports that SpaceX has any interest in being part of the Golden Dome. Back to you.
Really interesting there, because that was not the headline that we read today, that he was getting it. Anduril, right, Adara? It was Palantir, Anduril, and SpaceX. But we also did read Lockheed, Raytheon, some of those traditional names that we know in the defense industry were being floated as well. So keep your eye on that story. It's very interesting. I thought, I hadn't seen Elon get into the military game quite yet. I was kind of surprised by the headline, I'm not going to lie to you guys, because all the applications of SpaceX and stuff have been for civilian purposes. So that would be the first time he was throwing his hat into the military, or at least from what I know. Maybe I'm wrong. Fact check me on that, chat. But that's the situation. Finally, we're getting a couple of dubs. Let me tell you guys, I'm red on the day, like very, and it hasn't been a good day today. I kind of felt that was going to be the case. Just given the old noggin there was not in the best form, but we take a nice win here on your friend MSGM, popping into that 215. So we were able to scalp 195, 205. Looking for this one to continually run. I'm going to be adding on the dips, okay, into this one as well. Your friend Fat N as well. Fat Pipe continues to move up to the high side, 1390 on this monster right now, high a day. It's a bamboozler, though. I thought I was trading it correctly. I had all the right levels, but this one does have a tendency to have a specialist breakout and specialist breakdown. If you can't see it that well on the white charts, let me show it to you on the black charts here so you're able to see it a bit more. This probably stopped a lot of shorts out in the same way that this one over here stopped out a lot of the longs. I was involved in over here basically trying to take it off that $12 area, which had been money, and it was. But there was no way I could hold this 60 pennies against me because it wicked down there and then it got bought up quick as you like. So that's the way it is. FATN continuing to trend up. If you're unlucky enough like myself to get caught in the specialist breakouts and breakdowns, well then you might have a different feeling on it. But the fact of the matter is the trend is intact at the moment. I'm also continuing to short SXTC, wetting the beak there at 18s. We took some out at 7s. Let's see if this one wants to continue putting in a downtrend. Anything above 30, Joseph, I'm out.
Yeah, hit the dollar club for me. I'm not.
Oh, absolutely.
For somebody else there. There you go, Pizza Rat. There we go, normal special. That's for your Hertz trade. You get the dollar club. So if you ask kindly, you shall receive. We're in some TQs here, guys. You can see that we're holding this trend line. I would like a breakout, but I think if NVDA doesn't participate, we're not necessarily going to get it. You can see that we're really starting to move sideways now on the session. So just pay attention to that. I'll zoom out and use a higher time frame and just not focus on the one. And again, if we break through 45s, then that trade's going to be invalid, and then we might continue to the downside. So there we go. 20 cents OTM on that one, but that's okay. It's more of a grind. If buyers do want to step in, we can see that volume. And we have our trend line here as well, too. That's going to keep us in or out of this trade. If we snap it to the downside, then we're going to get out of it. There we go. Let's see what Adair's up to.
Keep an eye on SOFI. SoFi reportedly securing a $3.2 billion expansion to their loan platform business across agreements with Fortress and Edge Focus. So SoFi securing here apparently a $3.2 billion loan expansion. Keep an eye on SOFI. Already giving back a lot of this move, but we had a nice pop into that almost $11 area here for SOFI. Back to you.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, SXTC is breaking out again. Let's see what the situation here is. We've got a stop at 33s, but this is the area that it's been rejecting before. So let's see, does this one catch a bid? And it does. So we'll get stopped out for the remaining amount, but we did get some profits on that one. So SXTC, I'm having trouble saying this one today. If this breaks above 44 pennies, $2.44, that is a high at daybreak, and this will be a big move up if we can get one. I'm going to be keeping my eye on $2.44 on SXTC in the same way that I'll be looking to add at that $1.80 on MSGM. Adair, tell us what else you got.
Donald Trump, his stream just started for this bilateral meeting. We were expecting the bilateral meeting to start at 1:05 p.m., so about 40 minutes late is Donald Trump, but not too late for us to get involved in this market. That is for sure. Just be aware here, Donald Trump's bilateral meeting beginning. Apologies for all the interruptions. There has been a lot of news today to end this holiday shortened week. Here are the QQs just kind of continuing to top around here. He is, just in case you missed it, Donald Trump speaking with the leader of Italy, Giorgia Meloni. Back to you.
Katina, man, what are your thoughts on Giorgia Meloni? Any thoughts? Yeah, no, come on, Katina, man. She's the he doesn't care.
The latte there, man.
Yeah, how's that? It's looking good, Katina, man. How is it warm outside? Yes, there's something to look forward to, baby.
Pretty big, man.
That's a big one there, Katina, man. Free? Who do you know?
$3.99.
Use my points.
Use his
Well,
points.
it's not really that free then. I mean,
Well,
you paid for it.
why? Can you see the eye in the middle? That was so creepy.
What?
You didn't see they
yeah,
like
we
focused
could see
in on
it,
Shaw's eyes there, yeah. Georgia Baloney, calm down there, Joe Schmo. Her name is not Baloney. That's not nice.
When was the last time you had a bologna sandwich?
I don't know, but it's been a hot minute. I don't even get cutlets anymore. I used to buy some cutlets from the grocery store. I get like some choice meats.
Cutlets,
choice
you mean
cuts.
cold cuts, right?
But there's a lot of sodium in there, so I kind of weaned off that, right?
Cold
Like,
cuts in a long time.
yeah.
I'm not a big cold cut guy.
No. Guys, I added into MSGM on the move down, and we're already wetting the beak here. So this one did drop off that 215, so I added at the same position, popped up into 95. We'll take more out there. Now I'm waiting in front of 2. So I appreciate you, Joseph. MSGM, guys, keep your eye on this one. But SXTC, this takes out 44s, and obviously after that we'll be looking at 50s. This could be on one right now. SXTC died basically all of the midday. It was a short, and that's why I looked over to the Katina man, and he got me shorts on this one because it was trading below the volume weighted average price, but now it's been doing the best it can to kind of get back into those highs. And I'll submit to you on that last little attempt, we got into 40s. Here it is again. Here, there's a huge seller at 40. Look at this. Keeping it down. Boom! A new high a day, guys. 245. If we get a breakout on this one, I'm taking it. Okay, so let's watch what this one does. We'll get it on the micro pullbacks as we always do. 245 high a day. It's still being kept down. We always have to worry about a double top for these formations, okay? Because we get back into that same level and we don't know what kind of short seller or what kind of profit taker we got at those levels, right? So that's the thing we're looking for here. I'm looking for a decided break of the level on a closing basis, not just a quick wick up a couple of pennies above the previous high. It's got to be a decisive break. I'm talking about SXTC. Up 140%, Joseph. Let's see what this one does.
Yeah, let's go TQs in the overall market here, guys. Getting that nice bounce. You can see if we can pull up my screen real quick. So we entered on that one. Took a little off at the break of this pivot here, and then continuing to climb higher. We're gonna trim some more here, guys. So a really nice look. Oh, let's go, Sharif. There we go. Man? TQs moving really, really nice. Going 3 for 3 on the day with the TQs there, guys. So there we go. Nice look on this one here. So you can see that we were in at first, and then again, holding up the trend line, and then we look to take some more off there. So nice movement here in the TQs as we continue to climb. Let's see if we can break this pivot zone. This is gonna be a key level of resistance. Let's see if we reject it or we have enough volume. The thing is, I will note, we don't have that breakout volume here, guys. Even though we are slowly starting to increase, I want to see some more volume step in so we can get that momentum type trade. So there we go. Let's go, Pizza Rat. Let's go, Normal Special. My two guys. And Christmas in the chat as well, too. But Normal Special, Pizza Rat, Gorev, Juan Padilla, Hal R. Shout out to everybody there. Oscarito, Adam DeLuce, my guy. What's going on? Everybody in the chat. ADL says, hey, yo. What's up?
Look what he
ADL.
said after that, man.
What did he say after that?
How good was Saka? This good, baby.
Dang.
He was I was about to use a banned word right now, but he was money. Look, he missed the pen. He tried to get cute with the pen. We all saw it. He tried to chip it over Courtois. Not the right move, but my man was mentally strong. He had an L, and he came back from that L. And he played well the entire game, and then he was rewarded with that big boy goal. But the fact of the matter is, that's the kind of thing you want to see in a player because you're going to make mistakes. You're not always going to be on the top performer, but the mentally strong people continue on. I will submit to you guys, he was absolutely mentally strong yesterday. I'm talking about Bukayo Saka, Arsenal's right winger. I think Martinelli had a good game too, Adam. Martinelli's been kind of hurting a little bit lately, but he had a good game yesterday. Obviously, he scored, but I did like his play before he had that goal. So it wasn't just about him scoring. So that's a look there. I'm talking obviously about Arsenal versus Real Madrid yesterday. We whooped their rear ends 5-1 on aggregate, 2-1 on the night. They got their you-know-what handed to them. Adara, what's the information you got this time?
Donald Trump is currently being asked now, the Q&A right now, I just wanted to let you guys know that this is happening, but a comment was just made that I think I have to address. Literally, as we were doing the throw, Donald Trump was asked, what we're going to do about Jerome Powell. He has said that he will not be leaving, and then Trump said, oh, he'll leave if I ask him to. So Donald Trump making it very clear his goal is to terminate current FOMC chair Jerome Powell. Back to you.
Yeah, there we go. Tell him, Ramin.
He's gonna. What dare I say? He's gonna fire Jerome?
Yeah. He said.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there you can't fire my guy JP. Look at him.
Bro, like we're Canadians. And maybe it's whatever, the Americans don't like us commenting about their system, but the fact of the matter is I think this causes a constitutional crisis, man, if he tries to remove the Fed chair. So
then I would say that it's somewhat of a political entity, you know?
Well, apparently, I mean, they're not supposed to be political, but let's get real. Are they not? Like, are they completely tone deaf to what's happening in the country? Of course it affects them some way, somehow, right? Like, they're alive to these issues. It's going to be interesting there to see if he removes them. I mean, they've been fighting since, again, we said this earlier, and Adair confirmed it. He appointed him in 2018, and they haven't had a good relationship since then.
Do you think
right? Like he fought him in I think he raised rates in 18, if I'm not mistaken, and Trump wanted to kill him at the time. Well, he didn't want to kill him, but you know what I mean. Like, he was unhappy with that.
Do you think that Jerome was slightly late to the punch on QT when inflation was at its peak?
You mean raising rates?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. That's why he calls him Mr. Too Late, right?
So there you go.
Calls him too late to raise rates, too late to cut rates, or we'll have to wait and see. That's this issue there. With love to all. Yes, we don't like you, Canada, to tell us what to do. We're not really telling you what to do, brother. We're just commenting. I don't think you should get so sensitive with that. But yeah, that's fine. Jerome is going to show him who the big dog is.
Ooh.
Where's Jerome on here? Oh, I can't find him.
Adara,
more breaking news, I hear.
Dang.
We have now comments about tariffs here from Donald Trump. They're asking how are these calls going. Donald Trump said, well, Scott Bessent, who is, of course, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, could say more, but Trump did say that apparently they're making progress with all countries. The other thing that I think is worth noting here is there's a couple more comments from his talks for Powell. I was literally reading them as I was hearing them out my ear, so we weren't able to really process everything that was said. But he basically said he's not happy with Powell. He does not think Powell is, quote, doing the job. And then also more adding that countries want to make deals more than he does. So Donald Trump basically saying he's got the cards here when it comes to these tariff deals. Back to you.
Excellent reporting is over there, man. We're grateful for that. Yeah, let's see what else are the comments coming in here. Lemieux. It won't be a constitutional crisis, but will be a court case for sure. Yeah, it will be. Well, we'll have to see how this all pans out. Only time will tell. Let's bring in the thing over here and see what else everybody's saying.
No, Kurt,
go ahead.
No, we're not necessarily arguing with you what you're saying there, Kurt. Kurt Hoddle says Canada can't tell anyone what to do. We never said we were telling anyone what to do. What's your GDP there again? I think Illinois' GDP is bigger.
That's not true. It's a $2 trillion GDP. Yeah. Chill, bro.
I don't know.
Over $2 trillion now. Where are we at, Katina, man? I think we're over $2 trillion. Where's my chat at?
Come on, man.
Let's bring in chat.
Illinois.
Well, chat was wrong, I think, about the all-time highs on the NQ, so I am a little bit concerned. What is Canada's current GDP for 2024? I'm pretty sure it's $2 trillion change, guys. It's not going to be Illinois. All right, searching the web. Come on, chat.
Oh, bang! Already, I mean,
2.117 trillion. That's what I thought.
2.2 trillion.
You got 2. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go.
Copilot. By the way, I got something on Copilot there for you, Joseph. You're definitely going to want to hear this. So we glossed over the Microsoft story, right? Because it was just a downgrade by what's it called? Where are they at here? Show yourself by KeyBank. But look at this, Joseph. Look at why they're downgrading. Adder's key concerns: cloud growth stagnation, macroeconomic headwinds, and AI investment skepticism. Copilot disappoints. Revenue and demand below expectations. Well, they got to monetize you, Joseph, and then maybe they'll make a buck or two, right? There you go. Oh, Palantir. You just ruined the entire stream. That's Alex Karp, the haired one.
One more time.
He's phoning?
He's phoning, Katina, man. You're going to have to pick up the phone,
again,
brother.
One more time. Who?
Alex.
Call back.
Alex, you got to stop.
Oh, there he is. I did that just for you, my guy.
Why does the screen do that, though? Like, what the hell is going on?
Said that Katina man would like that one.
What is happening?
Right, we don't want to talk to Warren. We want to talk to Alex himself. So there you go.
I absolutely love it. All right, the Katina man's still long Palantir, by the way, for anybody who wants to know.
The taxes.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys, we just took some profits here on Fat N at the 53 penny mark, and now it's showing me 65. So let's go ahead and wait up at 74s. We'll look to wet the beak in and around there. I'm talking about Fat Pipe. Up again, 48.5%, not a bad look there. I'm also weaseling into MSGM. I've been into this. Sorry, I'm not weaseling. I'm looking at getting in more, actually. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Punch in a little bit there. On for a pop back up. It's been quite respectful of VWAP and the 10 exponential moving average. So not a bad look there. We'll keep an eye on these positions. We only have about 5 minutes left. Bruce Wayne. As an American who has dated multiple Canadian girls, I have nothing negative. I didn't even finish it. I didn't even finish it yet. I didn't even finish it yet. What's happening?
Yeah, Bruce Wayne, you are that guy.
Hold on. Let the man talk, bro.
You are that guy.
As an American who has dated multiple Canadian girls, I have nothing negative to say about Canada. I love it up there. Drop that money, baby. There it is, baby.
Yeah, there we go. We love that one.
All right, that should get a couple of laughs there. All right, we're having a good time, guys. Yes, the chat does like that. I figured they would like that. That is quite funny.
That was a good one.
All right, we're having a good time here, guys. Let's keep the good times going. Let's see if this MSGM wants to pop back up into a good level. What did we do there? Okay, so Fat N, we took another nice 60 penny winner there on Fat Pipe, and now we're going back to Adara.
Donald Trump actually talking about NVIDIA, more specifically its CEO, Jensen Huang. Basically, we know that Jensen Huang was going to China because of some concerns about the H20 chip and potential restrictions. Trump said that he's not worried about Jensen and that Jensen's a friend of his. So NVIDIA making a bit of a double top on this, just be aware NVDA now being mentioned, specifically its CEO, Jensen Huang, by President Trump. Back to you.
Any opinions from a Playboy? With love for all, brother, you really are the opposite, the antithesis of your name. Why are you so angry, dude? Like, your name is with love for all. Calm down over there, brother. Like, I don't understand what's happening with this guy.
Yeah,
I don't get it, Joseph. What's happening over there, man? Your boy has no love for anybody up there in that place.
ELE.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. All right, guys, we're taking some more here on MSGM. So I'm done the trade on Fat Pipe to the high side. We got top wig for now at 1380. I don't mind adding it to this on a move back down into 13 mid-teens. MSGM as well, continuing to put in higher highs and higher lows. The next little area I'm waiting for at 97s. Let's see if we can continue to move up here on MSGM. It's been a decent trade all day. It's been putting, as you can see, it looks like a very, very aggressive higher low, higher high situation. We haven't been really breaking down below key areas of technical support. What has happened on this one is you've had these returns. So pops back up aggressively, and then it will return kind of back to the mean. That's where you should be picking it up on. That I'll submit to you guys. MSGM, not a bad look. And here we go. Now it's popping up into 97s. That's where I'm waiting. I'm waiting at 97s. Let's see if it can cross. It's got to cross 97s for me to get the print. It's at 97 right now. No print forthcoming as a result of the spread. So we'll pack our patience on that one. There it is. Bang. All right, we'll take that one out there. Let's see what it does in front of $2 now. MSGM, guys, a nice move up into that $2 area. Joseph, a couple minutes left on the show.
Yeah.
Leave them with some thoughts, man.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good one lined up, but I don't feel like saying it today. Because, I have that little spiel at the end, but I'm going to leave it for another day. Maybe we'll get it.
No. What do you mean? Why?
Yeah, because I like it, and I'm not fully prepared.
Fair.
To do it, but I think people will enjoy it. It's just a little quote, and I like it. So we'll save it for another
Fair,
day.
bro. Whatever your vibe is, yeah.
Question, but again, let's see what we got going on here. Not much time left. I hope everybody does have a good weekend. Though we are long. It feels like a long time since we've had a long weekend. There's nothing in March, is there? We don't get any specific breaks in March, so we have to wait all the way until April.
You mean May, right? May 2-4.
Yeah.
We got Memorial Day. Memorial Day.
Anyways, come in.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But again, yeah. So gonna be going to be relaxing. Nice little trip coming up here in a couple hours. So looking forward to that.
You taking off from Pearson?
Yeah.
So listen, don't show up at Pearson. We need all the groupies out there, the Joey Options
show
groupies.
up at the DFW, Dallas Fort Worth. I'll be there. I'll sign whatever I need to sign.
That's amazing. Take a picture at Cowboys AT&T Stadium.
I will
as well.
I will. I'm gonna do some traveling. I'm gonna have some good Texas barbecue.
Hey.
There we
go.
There we go. Alex.
Hey.
My God.
Hey. Who? Hello? He hung up, man.
He hung up. He's
so rude, man.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about any.
It is now 2 o'clock, guys. It's been a hell of a week, a tougher trading day for me today, but it was a decent week, guys. Your boy Joey Ops is going to be in Dallas, so if you're in Dallas, reach out to your boy. He's on Twitter or X. You know exactly where that is. For us, though, we will see you. I will see you shortly at the green screen. Joseph, leave him with a thought.
Have a good weekend. Don't ruin if you have a positive week. Make sure you have those stops in place. Headline-sensitive market. Make sure everything is cool.
Peace.
I'm not muted. Physical evidence. Proof.
Wow, Ramin.
No, I had no. It's no, I know what it was. I just turned it on like 30 seconds ago. It probably didn't register over there. But